Welcome to the Feminine Mistake Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Nicole, and today I'm joined by
Hillary.
I'm sorry, Sarah.
Sarah. Are you dying?
I'm okay.
Do you need a little lozenge, maybe?
Have you
Sorry.
taken up smoking?
No, I'm okay. Sarah.
Sarah's here. And today, our special guest, we have actor, writer, and embroidery artist, Natalie Flynn.
Hi.
Welcome, Natalie.
Hello.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Today, we will be discussing the film.
Pretty woman, walking down the street, pretty woman.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's it.
That's it. That's all. That's the show, folks. We're done.
Bye.
We're going to be discussing Pretty Woman today. Did we? What year was this? 1990.
Really?
I was born.
That's why it felt so 80s, because it was basically made in the 80s.
Oh, right, because they shot it in the 80s. Yeah, it was really straddling.
Yeah.
I feel like the bridge of the 80s and 90s. Like it
Yeah.
had one foot in the 80s and one foot in the 90s. It definitely felt that way.
Yeah.
Yes.
So 1990, Pretty Woman, directed by Gary Marshall.
Mm-hmm.
So this was a big
Yeah.
hit for him. Starring
We've
Jill.
watched so many Gary Marshall movies.
We really have.
Overboard.
And like I saw his name on there and I
Beaches.
was just like, holy shit. I was like, another one.
I feel like, well, I mean, the Cutaways have watched like way
all
more of Gary Marshall's films than we have. But yeah, it didn't feel like we don't have to get into this right now, but it didn't feel like a Gary Marshall film to me.
It didn't
It
to
was
me
written
either.
by someone.
Well, parts of it did, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. I did feel like there were a couple of very Gary Marshall-esque moments, but
Oh,
overall
yes.
it definitely like felt really somber for a Gary Marshall film. Okay, so before we get into talking about the film proper, let's go around the table and talk about everybody's experience with the film prior to the show. Hillary, why don't you start us off?
I honestly don't know when the first time I saw this movie was. I'm pretty sure I was like maybe in my mother's arms like as a newborn infant, and she was like watching it or something while
So you
nursing me.
slid out of the womb
Like,
and this movie was on.
This was playing on a tiny TV screen that they were holding up as my mom was pushing me out. You know, I came out looking at this screen watching this. I don't know.
sorry for
it's
you.
just this has always been a part of my life. I don't know. I've seen it so many times.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Seen the movie, and it was the one you were thinking it was.
It was.
It wasn't like you thought
I
it was a movie
didn't-
and then it wasn't.
No, it wasn't the
Okay.
wrong one.
All right.
Wasn't thinking of
You're
another
like,
movie
I thought this
time.
was this movie, and it actually was. I was thinking of Taxi Driver, which ends very
Can
differently.
you imagine if that's what I thought this movie was?
Like,
I would be
thought
so
Jodie Foster
disappointed.
was in this.
But no Harvey Keitel with a creepy pinky finger. No, God, I'll never forget that scene. Okay, not this movie.
I've never seen that movie.
Oh, it's great. It's great and terrible, and far too relevant for this day and age.
Yeah.
Sarah,
I've seen this movie a few times. I saw it for the first time maybe like 4 or 5 years ago when I was past the point of being able to deal with this shit. And so, yeah, no, I felt it had problems when I first saw it. So,
wow. Okay,
yeah.
all right then.
I think I saw it first in middle school. I've definitely seen it a few times. I mean, it's like when I used to have cable, it was on a lot.
Okay.
You're
Definitely.
so right that it was just like on
It
all
was
the
just
fucking
like
time.
on a lot. So I guess I'd seen like a different version of it.
Oh, a less
like a more censored version, I suppose.
I'm interested
and
to
with
know what they
commercials.
cut out once we get to some of
I
those
mean,
moments.
that piano scene, I had not seen
I
that
bet.
before.
Oh,
Okay.
I had not seen that before, and I was like, "Whoa, Stevie, let me write this down."
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is like watching Game of Thrones for
Oh.
the first time.
This movie was
Goodness.
rated R, by the way.
Oh.
really?
Really,
I
there's
guess-
not even a nipple in it, or there's like a
No.
hint of a nipple in one scene, but that's about
I
it.
feel like we've watched movies that were rated PG that were far
Wasn't
more.
Fast Time or whatever the fuck? What did
Fast
we
Times
just
at
watch?
It was
Ridgemont High?
PG
We just watched-
13.
what, that was PG
I'm
13.
pretty sure it
Yeah.
is.
And there were like 14-year-old girl nipples
There were
in that.
legit. There was
Yeah.
legit sex going on in that movie. I think
A
it was
lot of
PG-13.
sex in
I
that
can't
movie.
remember.
I can't remember.
But it was like, yeah, there was like nakedness. I
was
don't know.
like,
Maybe
what
we're
a
wrong.
I thought
person
this
gave
movie
this an
was
R.
very.
This
yeah.
may have been after like standards changed. And they were like, no more nipples.
I mean,
for
I
the
gotta
common
tell you,
folk.
I think what was driving that rating perhaps was the idea. Okay, let's get this out of the way. First of all, are we going to refer to Vivian as a prostitute, or are we going to
No.
refer to her as a sex worker?
Sex
Sex
worker.
worker.
Okay.
Sex worker.
Okay. I have a
Actually,
feeling.
they call her a.
They do
I
call her
mean,
a
if
hooker.
we're quoting,
Yeah.
if we are quoting a quote, then let's use the quote. But like,
Correct.
let's call her what she is,
Right.
which is a sex worker. I mean, we're all feminists at this table,
Right.
Are we?
So
Yes.
kidding.
Are we, Natalie?
Natalie's like,
Are you in the right
place? Surprise, guys! I'm a Meninist. So
Men actually have it really hard in this country.
So I feel like that the R rating surely must come from the whole concept of her being a sex worker. I would think.
It
I would
says
assume.
Yeah.
sexuality and some language. That's what it says on.
I mean, it is the tamest
Yeah.
yeah.
of sex scenes.
Yeah.
Nicole, it's not sex scenes, it's sexuality.
Okay, yeah, you're
Because
right.
yeah, they
'cause
don't
they're not
actually
sex
show
scenes.
anything.
I don't even think we saw any buns.
No.
I feel
No.
like that. I feel like that
It's just implied
video
that they're
of,
naked
of,
together a lot.
James Corden and Lin-Manuel Miranda
That was way sexier.
dancing dancing naked in the crosswalk was far more racy.
It really was.
God,
yeah.
I need to
Yeah,
see
yeah, yeah.
that.
Wait, did you post that?
I did.
I need to see
I
it.
saved
I mean,
it.
I don't think they're really naked. I,
I don't
think they're
know,
probably
but I like
wearing
to imagine.
flesh-colored
Oh,
briefs.
man.
But it
And
certainly
Natalie's
looks like
looking
they
off
are.
into the distance.
It was. I mean, that was far more
James
R-rated
Corden,
than this movie.
I know.
Okay, so if you can believe it, I have never seen this movie.
I
until,
can believe it. You haven't seen any of the famous movies like this, I feel like.
Oh no,
I
I've
feel
seen
like
famous. I don't do romantic. I mean, I don't want to call this romantic comedy,
I
but I'm
wouldn't
not
call
really
this
like a
romantic
romance.
comedy, though. I'm not
gal.
either, though.
It is a romantic comedy technically because it's in the category of comedy or musical. And
This movie came out in 1990. I would have been around 10 years old. So I would not have been allowed to see it when it came out. Once I got old enough to watch it, I think it was kind of not like cool to watch. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who saw it and this film was beloved to them. I never had any interest in watching it. And also as I got older, I just did not like the idea of the narrative of like sex worker with a heart of gold that a man swoops in. It's like I'm not into that narrative, and I never was really. So I think that's kind of what kept me from watching this movie. And I thought maybe I would be surprised. Maybe the movie had something to offer that I was not expecting. And by the looks on your faces, you think that is foolish, and you would be correct because this is absolutely everything I was expecting. And also
Gary Marshall movie. Like, they tried.
the most
did.
okay, I don't want to
Kind of.
I don't want to be judgmental or anything, but this is the most boring movie about sex work I have ever seen.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
Like it could not
I
have
don't
been
watch a
slower.
whole lot, though, because normally they're pretty sad.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, it
Um,
wasn't
Probably
sad.
the-
It was
the
just
funniest.
boring.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was our experience with Pretty Woman prior to the podcast.
The end.
Goodbye, everyone. So let's get into talking about this movie.
You seem sort of distant.
Let's just do it, man. You look stupid and rich.
The house is a mess, Jack. The kids are a mess, Jack. You're a mess, Jack.
You have been a total bitch ever since you came to New York. Fascist.
All right, let's get into it.
Okay, Pretty Woman.
Can that be our new? Can that be our new thing?
Just
I
I'll
think
just
that
have
was really
Hillary
great.
record all of the. We'll be like pentatonics.
Yes.
And we'll do all the
Just like
and that'll be how we do all of our transitional
just like
music.
make weird noises into
I'm
the
sure
microphone.
we
You
will
can
not lose any
overlay them.
listeners.
Like
I
we
really
could get
could.
Thomas in on this too. I bet
oh my
Thomas
God,
could do
Thomas
some
would
crazy
do some
shit.
sick beats with that.
Oh my God.
Mistake.
Thomas, I'm gonna record a bunch of smacking noises with my mouth. I expect you to make them into a song by the next
would be amazing.
month. Thank you.
So this movie, Pretty Woman, 1990. Whoa, where do we start? Whoa. So this movie is called Pretty Woman. And it went by another title, I believe, originally. I wish I could remember before they changed.
Let's speculate wildly.
No. I did read a piece of trivia
I
about
can
this.
come up with so many
think
options.
I've read that too.
It was originally called something else, and I think it was called like 3,000 after the $3,000 she
Oh,
offers
okay.
her,
That
which
was gonna-
sounds like a sci-fi movie.
my guess was gonna be, don't worry, you can just buy her. You know?
I was actually thinking a nice title would be Toxic Masculinity
Oh, that would be a wonderful title for this.
finds his version of a love match. Oh boy. Okay, we should just get into talking about this movie
do
because
it.
I could go on and on and on about that particular topic, but I suppose we should get into the actual plot here. So let's start by talking about Edward, played by Richard Gere. Sex symbol Richard Gere, right?
He's so hot.
Are you serious?
I think he's really sexy.
Are you
I
serious?
think Richard Gere is really sexy.
He's like a piece of wood
Oh my god, I think he's so hot.
with very tiny eyes.
Very tiny eyes.
This is
I
such
think he's
small
really
eyes.
hot.
He's like a piece of wood that somebody poked holes into.
I'm into it. I'm into
For
it.
eyes.
He could
Maybe
have
it's
been Edward
because
Cullen to me. I could see
so
that. 'Cause
distant
he's just
and
very
uninvested.
Yeah,
he's very-
exactly.
like,
That's why
I
I see him
remember-
as Edward Cullen
Oh yeah,
instead
totally.
of Edward, whatever his name was in the.
I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, I didn't think much of it. I just thought, oh, it's this guy who's like unemotional and like that's just how guys are. But I watched it this time and I'm like, no, this guy's a dick.
yeah,
He's
guy's just a
possessive.
dick.
he's such an asshole.
He's
But like Richard Gere, the person is
passive
sexy.
aggressive. Okay, no. I just did not find him sexy in this. I
think in
wanted
this
to.
movie, I'm very attracted to the fact that he was just shelling out cash all the fucking time.
Well, I can see that.
love money.
I know. I really feel
you
like
can follow me
this
on
is-
Twitter.
I feel like this is like the perfect love story for you.
Yeah, it really. This is my. I think maybe this is what has fucked me up. Maybe I think we're fine. If this
Oh
was
my
a
God,
therapy
this is the
session,
heart of it.
I think this is where we would get to the point where we're like, I think we found the root of Hillary's dating
This
issues.
is your breakthrough.
And it was because I watched this movie at a young age and thought a man will just buy me, and then I won't have to worry about anything anymore.
Okay,
If
so
only.
It could happen.
I wanted to be attracted to him because it would have made the movie more interesting, but I found him repulsive in every single way, frankly.
Yeah.
But we can get into that more deeply. So we were introduced to Edward at this party, and as we were watching it, the first thing I began to think about was that the beginning of Three Men and a Baby, where they're also having a rich person's party at a fancy house.
Yeah.
Only they were like fun and charming.
I know. I hated that intro less. Yeah. On 3 Men and a Baby.
Yeah, like he just seemed like a dick, and then Jason Alexander is also a dick.
Oh man.
And
what
they're
a
all
dick.
just smarmy, and like immediately I think it's also like the place that I'm at right now where like white guys in suits my butthole tightens now. Like I just
Yeah.
like I stiffen up and I become very defensive. It's a tough time for me as far as white guys in suits go. So I was not enjoying this opening at all. So anyway, we find out that Edward he broke up with his girlfriend, right? Very unemotional about it. He's basically like,
Yeah,
whatever, bitch.
Jessica.
Yeah, he's
If that's what you want.
exactly. He and
then-
not enjoying this party. That's I guess.
Well,
being
and
thrown
another
for him.
woman even walks up to him too and is like, "Hey, Edward," and she's like, "I got married," and he's like, "Oh, you got married?" And she's like, "Couldn't wait for you," and I'm like, well, "How long?" Like, I have so many questions.
Yeah.
How long did you wait? Was it a respectable amount of time, or were you like 1 month? Better get married to somebody else then.
I mean, I
That's a
think
good
she made the
question.
right
Concerned.
call.
Oh, I definitely think she made the
honestly.
right call.
Okay, so he's having a party. He's not enjoying it. I believe he asks to borrow his lawyer's car, right? He's asked
Did
to
he
borrow
ask,
Jason
or did he
Alexander's
just
I
take
don't think he
it?
asks. I think he just takes it.
car. Oh, okay.
I thought he
Yeah.
just took it. I also would like to ask why there was the inexplicable magic at the very beginning of the movie. 'Cause-
Yeah.
Wait, there's magic?
There's
Yeah,
a
there's like
There was like a
someone-
magician.
Yeah, that's how it starts. There's
very
like the
strange.
opening shot is just someone doing like a trick with a coin.
Oh yeah. Now you see it, now you don't, and then there's like the big coin. Was that
Yeah.
supposed to tell us something about the?
I
I
was
totally
wondering,
forgotten.
but it didn't.
I'm gonna pour myself some more tea here. I had forgotten that even happened.
I think he said something about like being able to multiply your money or something. I don't know, something because it was two ladies, right? He made like
Yeah.
some comment about them.
In any case, so he takes is it a Ferrari? I don't know cars.
I don't know
It's a Lotus.
A Lotus.
They say it a lot.
What's a
Yeah.
She's like they
Lotus?
say it like a lot.
I wrote it down.
Probably
I
a
actually
knockoff
watched it
Ferrari.
today, so I'd be fresh.
Is that like a
Nice.
90s? Oh, good for you. A 90s Lotus, whatever
Yeah.
that is. I'm sorry,
It's a
car
Lotus.
fans. I don't know what that is.
I don't know. It was a stick shift. I know that much.
Yeah, it was a fancy sports car. He goes driving off, leaves his own party. He is, well, I guess before we get to Vivian, I guess we should just say that Edward's job is that he buys companies in trouble. So he's like, I don't know what, like a shark
Yeah.
character type guy.
Yeah.
Buys companies in trouble and then sells off the pieces is
Yeah.
kind of how he puts it. So he's one of those guys.
So real nice.
I love those guys. Love them.
He's a gem.
Automatically somebody I'm going to be falling in love with. Hillary has just
Yeah.
got stars in her
I'm
eyes.
smitten.
She's hoping to meet one of those hot Wall Street bros.
Again, you can find me on Tinder, Twitter, Facebook,
Or just
Instagram.
Email the Feminine
Email.
Mistake Podcast
Yeah.
at gmail.com. Email your bank account numbers
Mm-hmm.
and a picture of
Please.
your Lotus.
Yes.
But
I-
your car Lotus, not
well, any sort of lotus that you have.
No.
You may be
Feel free to
doing a
send it
Lotus,
my way.
Lotus pose if you're into yoga.
Yes. If you're into yoga, though, like, just don't worry about it unless like your bank account really, like, it really is good. You know.
Okay. Okay. So he drives off. We get introduced to Vivian.
okay. So
Do we get
every
introduced
time-
to her or her vagina?
Okay.
Her
That
vagina.
again, I want to reference another movie we watched last year. She just one of the guys.
Yeah.
That, and I agree with you because I remember talking about that one, and it was the difference in the way it was shot, right? And that it wasn't like it didn't start with vag to boobs to like butt, and like this one did. And like
This
I
was,
thought
like,
of that. I thought of
very-
just one of the guys when I saw this shot, and I was just like, "Damn, that is very different."
It was hella male gaze.
It was a while before we saw her
Yeah.
face.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
it was mostly
Like a
like
really
her
long
putting
while.
on a bra and
we
like
saw
all
her
kinds.
eye at
yeah,
one point, but not even her face, just
Yeah.
her putting on makeup.
it kind of reminded me of like how often posters are used in advertisements where it's just women's lips or like their chest and
Yeah.
you never see their faces.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was very. It was like a shot that started on the crack of her ass, basically,
Yeah.
and then traveled up to her boobs. That was how we were introduced to Julia Roberts' character Vivian.
Yeah.
Yep. But
very
then she
important.
colors in her boots, and you realize that she's
does.
just like scrappy and like trying to get it. You know,
She's got
Trying to
pictures
make
of her
some
friends
money.
on the walls.
Right? She's just a
Look how
fun,
nice.
young little California girl.
Can we talk about how overly
Millage
sanitized
still, or-
she is as a character?
Yeah.
Can we just
Yeah.
talk about
Very
that? Like, I know
bummer.
it's not
Sanitized.
like until later we hear about this, but I almost feel like they're like, well, we can't have him fall in love with like
Well,
a real sex worker,
here's
so
the
she has to be
thing.
like a sex worker who's just trying it out for like a summer job.
Well, and here's the thing
Yeah.
too is that even Kit was sanitized
Yeah.
too, and like because her character Vivian she's just off the farm of Milledgeville, Georgia, and just moved out there, and she's got to try to make some money after her fast food
She's
jobs
in
didn't
LA,
work
she
out.
did fast food job, so she's gonna try out a little sex work.
Right, but
gonna-
Kit
that's a
has
natural
Make her
jump.
sound so
Right.
fun.
And then Kit has been in this game for a long time, and even Kit is like a very cleaned up version of
Kit
who
played
she
Laura,
should be.
played by Laura San Giacomo or Gia.
Yeah. And I mean, she's like a drug addict and all these
She's
other
a-
things. And
she's a drug addict.
But she's still like a fresh faced, cute little girl.
She's
And
a-
I'm just like, that is not who that person would look like.
She's a peppy drug addict
Like-
who never, although she does spend all their money on drugs.
Yes.
Their rent money. She never seems down and out. She never
No.
seems
I mean, the way they
sick
act
or
is not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I
or
do say I
wasted
would
in
say
any
that
way.
Julia Roberts, how she portrays her, is not all put together, and like
No.
she is kind
Right.
of like awkward and lanky,
Yeah.
and you know.
Right. But I think that's supposed to speak to her
Yeah.
awkwardness
Yeah.
and like naivety. Naivete.
Naivete.
It's like a Prince and the Pauper kind of
Yeah.
situation, though.
Well,
you know.
And
Yes.
I thought it was kind of interesting that Kit kept talking about how like Skinny Marie, who was found in the dumpster.
Yeah, there's
she
a
was a
woman-
crackhead, so that was just different than them.
Yeah.
They're not crackheads, so that could never happen to them. But
A
she's
woman-
doing drugs the
this
whole time.
movie starts
This
with
movie
a
start-
woman's
and
body being
tourists.
found
Strawberry.
in a dumpster.
And
Yeah, her name
tourists
is
taking
Strawberry.
pictures of it. Tourists from Orlando taking
Yeah.
pictures.
Yeah, like and Hank Azaria is there interviewing
Hank
people.
Azaria.
I know,
What?
which was so odd to me.
Just
I was like, damn, hello.
Very
Super
briefly.
weird. Like he never came
Very
back again.
brief.
I thought that was going to return. I don't know if that was
Yeah, it seems like an important plot line. Like,
yeah, I thought they were going to
Yeah.
come back to that. And also, like, that was a moment where, like, the reality of, like, how the job that they have can be dangerous, like, it was kind of present in that moment. And then it was just like, I mean,
not-
like, her
yeah.
neighborhood seemed very, like, they were going out of their way to make it seem dangerous at first.
Yeah.
She doesn't have the money for the rent. Her landlord is Mr. Heckles, by the way.
yes. Yeah, I
Anybody
noticed that.
From Friends.
Friends.
So yes.
So and she has to climb out a window to escape him. They keep their money in the toilet, of course.
Where else?
As you do.
Where do you keep
Everyone
your
keeps
money?
their
As you do. I keep my money in nature's pocket.
That's also safe.
It's very
Yep.
safe,
It's very safe there. Safe
sanitary.
and comforting for the money.
Yeah, yeah.
No.
It's got a nice like resting place.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And I have to, and I just
And it's really fun when you have to like check
pull
out at
when
a
you're
store
when you're at the
clerk.
coffee
Yeah.
shop and you just got to pull it out and count it.
And you're like,
Yep.
sorry, I'm wearing my bike shorts. Just got to get my hand
Sorry,
in here.
It's a little damp.
My
Okay.
bad.
Anyway.
Sorry.
Okay. So back to this movie. We're still at the part where Edward pulls up in the car. She hasn't even gotten in the car yet. So he offers her she says she'll take $5 to give him directions. He says he's going to pay her $20 and then she gets in the car, right? Because she's
Yeah,
like,
she's just
for
like, cool.
$20, I'll go with you.
Which, like, why? Like, you're already at work. Like, why would you leave work to go spend money to go back
Well,
to
isn't
work?
that
you know?
work?
That's
though?
work.
That's work, right?
She's gonna schmooze him.
Also, she might. It's kind of like when
maybe,
you're
yeah.
at the table and you've got the table to order a pitcher of beer. You want to upsell some
That's
wings.
true.
she's got to
True.
upsell that.
She's got to upsell that.
Right. She's got to sell him the wings.
Yes. So she gets in the car and
Or like a breast and a thigh.
Oh,
Ba-dum,
bum,
bum.
bum, bum, bum. We're walking a line.
Ba-dum, bum,
We're
ba-dum,
walking a
bum.
line of taste here, I think, as we usually do.
Whoops.
No, that was good.
I've already had a full glass of wine. Sorry, guys. We haven't even, like, gotten
I know
to
we
the
really
main
haven't.
part of this
So
movie.
let's let me just.
Should we
Oh my, yeah, we really we need to. Yeah, no,
started a
we're
bit
doing
late.
no,
All right.
we're actually doing good. So they end up hitting it off in the car. We'll just say that they hit it off.
Uh-huh.
She gives him directions to Beverly Hills because he needs to get back to his place. Once they get there, he ends up letting her drive.
Yeah.
because she is into cars.
And his
And
first
yeah,
car
she-
was
she
a
knows-
limousine.
Yeah, right.
And he
'Cause
doesn't know how to
said that.
drive. He doesn't
Yeah.
know how to drive, you guys.
Yeah.
He's so rich, he doesn't know how to drive.
stick.
I thought I got the sense that he didn't know how to
he knows how
drive.
drive stick.
Because, well, I feel like I got the sense that he didn't know how to drive
I
because he
did
always
too.
gets driven around by
Yeah.
people.
Because also, I think at this point in time, too, it was a common skill to be able to drive a stick shift. Like, I don't think that it was
In 1990
as,
it was, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, like, I don't think that it was as obsolete a skill as it is now.
Especially fancy fucking cars.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if he drove regularly, he would know how to drive a stick.
I literally saw a meme the other day that was a picture of a stick shift, and it said millennial anti-theft device on it. And I was like, that's
Hey, fucking
so
who needs
true.
a stick
Very
shift?
fair.
It's
Where's
not
the
necessary.
lie?
It's like, I don't even drive anymore. I just Uber everywhere because I hate parking.
Yeah, that's true.
We're not
Wow,
there
we are
first.
really getting like we have to get back to this car. Okay, so
car.
anyway, back to the car. So they get along, they hit it off. She drives his car. By the time they get to his he lives in a hotel because he's not from L.A. He's from New York, right?
Right.
Right.
And she's dropping him off at the Beverly Wilshire Hotel.
The
And-
Regent Beverly Wilshire.
Oh, so I don't know my Beverlys.
I've seen this movie so many times. I know she writes down Reg Bev Wilsh.
Yes, that's
does.
true.
Got it.
And she propositions him, gives him a little rub between the legs before leaving.
And I
To
actually
entice him.
was watching this movie this time, and I was like, I did not catch that stiff joke as a kid. The like joke that she makes about like, when they're driving,
Oh, yeah.
he's driving the car, and he's like, oh, it's just a little stiff, and she reaches over into his lap, and it's just
The
like,
stick
well,
shift?
not yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when he's
Yeah.
like saying he's having
Yeah.
trouble
I
driving,
didn't
and she's
catch
like, well,
that.
not yet, and then they switch seats, and
Right.
she drives.
Yeah.
And I did not catch that joke the first time we
Of
watched.
course you
it.
didn't, and good thing too.
I know.
When you were
Since I
coming
was
out of
an
the
infant.
womb.
It's too bad your mom didn't point it out to you
I know.
and explain it to you. That would have
Exactly.
been a good opportunity for
Jeez,
the
Mom.
talk.
Thanks
a
a
teachable
lot.
moment right there.
That was such a teachable moment.
When a man and a woman sort of like each other in a Lotus.
I would have been amazing at hand jobs by high school.
Oh man.
Everybody's got to be good at something. Okay, so they get to the hotel. She is sort of propositioned him. He kind of seems like he's kind of not. He seems like he's not going to go for it. But then he changes his mind and invites her up to his hotel room. But
Yeah.
is embarrassed of her and makes her
Yeah.
wear his jacket.
I don't think he's embarrassed. I think he's trying to like protect her from being kicked out. Like he's trying to like.
I don't. I think he
let
doesn't
me-
want to
let
be
me-
seen
well,
with anyone like her.
Let's hear you out, Sarah. Let's tell us why you think that.
Yeah, I mean, it was just the way he did that. It felt more like, here they're gonna judge you, and like this is my coat. Like it wasn't like ew, because like there was nothing about him that was like ew, you're a prostitute. It was like I want to like shelter you, or I want to save you, or I want to like.
I definitely think that throughout the film, he's like, I'm your he wants to be the fucking I'm the guy that's gonna swoop in and fix your fucking life and be your savior. Your
I felt like
white
he tried
knight.
to help
In
like
this-
save her, as opposed to like be like embarrassed of her.
In this scene where he puts the coat on her, to me it was like every frat guy who slept with a fat girl and was like sneaking the side entrance. You know, it was
Yeah,
like
I
I'm
feel
ashamed
that-
of you, but I still want to do this because I like what I like and I like you and I want to do it. But also, I don't want anyone to know that this is what I like and this is what I want.
I mean,
know?
I'm
That's what I
mostly
felt like to
picking
me.
up on this consistent look of disgust he has on his face most of the time. Whenever he asks her to do something, or or I should say, tells her to do something, often passive aggressively. The one example that's really striking to mind happens later, but when they're eating breakfast and she sits on the table,
Yeah.
and he says, there's a seat right there. Instead of being like, hey, it's making me uncomfortable that you're sitting on the table. Can you sit in a seat? Like, he's a fucking dick about it. And I feel like that's the way he is with the coat, where he's like got this like disgusted look on his face where he's like, cover up for fuck's sake. Because she's wearing this like dress with like a lot of cutout holes, and she's got these thigh-high boots, and she obviously doesn't fit in with all the
Very
you know.
2017 trendy. I could see that being sold at Forever 21 right now.
This is
Right.
like this outfit is my aesthetic.
Yeah.
It's like what I want to be wearing all the time. I'm not gonna lie.
it's
like
but
cut out sides, high boots.
Yeah.
Love it.
not fitting in with the old biddies though that are
Oh.
hanging out in that hotel room.
No.
And as she walks in, she kind of also starts to feel self-conscious. Like, I think this is one of a series
Yeah.
of moments where he makes her feel less than.
But
Yeah.
I think she
Right off
takes
the
that
bat.
back in the elevator for sure. She I think she takes all of that, like, I'm feeling uncomfortable, and turns it on its head and is like, I'm just gonna be who the fuck I am in the scene with the elevator when she just gets in, like, after the like, oh, there's a run in my pantyhose, and like, oh, I'm not wearing any, and then she gets in the
Oh,
elevator, sits down, and what, like, the line is like, color me happy, there's a sofa in here for two, and she just puts her leg up on it, and it's just to make that couple uncomfortable because of who she is.
He doesn't, but she is ready to get down to business. But he just wants to talk.
Well, and he orders strawberry
not
and
talk.
champagne
He
at
does.
the front desk when they first walk in. He's like, have some strawberries and champagne
And
sent up.
snubs her for not wanting strawberries.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
like, what are these for? And he's like, ugh, they make the champagne taste better. Fuck you.
But they don't, guys. They don't.
And she had already drank her whole glass, and he was like,
he's like, oh God, this low class woman I picked up
sorry.
"It's lush."
is just not meeting my standards
Also,
right now.
I've chugged a lot of champagne in my life. She didn't burp.
She didn't burp.
She didn't burp.
Oh, and also they didn't tip the elevator guy. I was very upset about
Oh,
that. They never tipped
yeah.
the elevator
Poor
guy,
elevator
and he
guy.
did the most in this movie.
He did.
He was there.
He really
and
was.
he kept his mouth shut, except for when he was asked not to.
Yeah,
And
that's true. It's a long suffering fellow, that guy.
and they made a point to tip other people in
Yeah.
the hotel. And
Yeah,
I
but
thought it was
not
kind
him.
of shitty
That's
that they
true.
never tipped him.
And he was like working the night shift too.
He was.
Yeah.
So he offers her some strawberries, which she doesn't really want, which is honestly, I have 3 children, so that's the first time I've seen anyone turn down strawberries.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was my house, they would be gone immediately.
I don't think I've ever seen a human turn down a strawberry, to be honest.
I mean,
Like
unless you're
person.
allergic.
Unless you're
Yeah.
allergic. But I've
Who
never...
doesn't like strawberries.
Sometimes
Never
if they're
met a
too
person.
cold, I have very sensitive teeth,
Oh, yeah.
and I don't like it when it's really cold.
I love a chocolate covered
Yeah.
Ooh,
strawberry.
but if it's covered in chocolate,
Yeah.
I'll
Oh my
do.
God.
If cover anything in chocolate, I'm
I
I'm
like
there
strawberry
for
flavored things.
it. Yes.
But she, as usual, as will happen multiple times throughout this movie, to please him, will eat the strawberry.
Can we talk about how he doesn't seem attracted to her? Like, he doesn't seem excited to sleep with her. He's just kind of like,
He's
I
just
guess.
like, there's a woman here now.
I
He's
feel like
like,
for
I
the first
guess.
third of the movie, they have like no chemistry, in my opinion.
no chemistry.
And he's just got this very stony face, sour expression. Like, again, I feel like I'm not really describing this well, but like, when I mean by toxic masculinity is this, I'm a man's man and I have no emotion, and like, I make the bread, and like, you know, I don't, he like wants everything his way. Everything has to be his way.
Yeah.
Like, he calls the shots. He tells her what to do. She obliges. And of course, in this situation, he's paying her to behave a certain way, but it's like his ideal woman. It almost seems like after, and we find out in the scene that he's been married before. He broke up with this.
He had a girlfriend at the same time when he was married. Like he was having an affair.
Yeah, like so he wants things to be a certain way, and the only way he can get them is to pay a woman to be compliant, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the scene where she watches. He wants her to just sit down and watch TV. So again, like I'm feeling like.
And he wants to
She's
just
like a little
creepily watch her watch TV, which is just so odd to me.
She's like a little kid at a slumber party. It's a little
I
creepy.
know,
was really
but it was
cute,
so
though.
cute. Like she was adorable. I
She
really
was so
liked her.
cute.
Like I don't.
She's
want,
adorable.
Like I don't want to mince words
She's
about
the
it. Like
best
I think she is really cool. Like I want to be her friend. I want to be Vivian's friend. She
Yeah.
seems so cool. But
She is cool.
he is so fucking creepy.
He's a total creep.
And then she only asks for $300 for the night.
What? She lowballed him so hard. It
I
was
know.
100 an hour. She should have timed out the hours.
Can we
Come
talk
on,
about
girl.
the math here? Like, let's say
bad math.
conservatively that she got there at midnight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If she's there till the next morning, even if it's 6 a.m., that's $600.
Right?
Yeah.
Unless, like, he
Come
picked
on,
her
honey.
up at
Have
like
you never
4
babysat
a.m.
before?
I know. I used to do overnights babysitting, and I didn't even have to sleep with a person or like get undressed or like do anything I didn't want to do. I was alone past 8 p.m. I still charged like $200.
Yeah.
to
Right?
do an overnight.
I mean,
You know, like
I
she's,
feel like
like,
somebody,
lowballing hard.
somebody
Lowballed
needs to
so
get
hard,
that
I
girl
made
a
a big note
calculator.
of
That's
that.
all I'm saying.
She was, however, pro condom, and I really liked that.
I
Yeah,
did
I do
like
too.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She pulled out the
I did
condom.
like.
Mhm.
She had a variety,
A variety,
pack
gold
of
one.
condoms.
Like
I
the
haven't
gold one.
gotten there yet, but the 3,000 that she
Well, let's
eventually
get there.
charges. Okay.
So she stays overnight.
Mm-hmm.
he creepily watches her.
He
watch
creepily
I
watches
Love
her.
Lucy.
We definitely get I don't know if they. I guess they have sex the first night. There's
Well,
definitely a blowjob
oh,
that goes
can I-
down for sure.
Also, add one quick thing. Sorry, going back to the champagne. He doesn't drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so creepy.
So creepy. I was
Well,
like,
he's
what's
just-
he going
I
to
think
root
it's
me?
okay
Give
not
people
to
alcohol.
drink,
Well,
but-
give someone alcohol and then not drink.
You're right.
But
that is
he
creepy.
ordered a
You're
whole
right.
bottle of
I
champagne.
wouldn't, like, I don't drink, but I wouldn't like make someone drink. Like I wouldn't be
Right, Sarah's not going to
to
invite a dude over to her house and pop a bottle of champagne, force him to drink the whole thing. Like,
No.
it's
I mean,
creepy.
to be
It's
fair, he
weird.
didn't force the champagne on her.
No,
he did
she
force,
just like gets drunk and watches I Love Lucy, which is exactly what I would have done.
he did force the
Exactly what I-
strawberries on her.
But it is.
however,
I
And then
mean,
she had to
as someone
floss.
who doesn't drink, it
And he
is kind
judged.
of.
oh yeah, the
What?
floss. That's
Oh, yeah.
that's.
She had to
Yeah.
floss because of the damn strawberries, and then he was
Oh.
like, "Oh, you're doing drugs." She's
Yeah.
like, whoa,
Yeah, and he
whoa.
makes more assumptions about her.
So rude.
So let's talk about the next morning. So this is when they're having breakfast in the morning. She sits on the table. He's
tells her to-
snarkily.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then why don't we talk about the tub? You want to go for it, Sarah?
Yeah, so she's in the tub. She's listening to Prince, and she's singing along to Prince. And I'm worried that she's gonna get her headphones wet.
Yeah, and like
I was
yank
worried
that
about,
one.
worried
I was
about
worried
that.
about that
Yeah.
Walkman going in there.
Yeah,
I mean, not
yeah,
about
I was
her
worried
getting
about it.
electrocuted, but just like that was a nice Walkman. you
Yeah.
know?
And she's being all goofy and silly in herself, and she thinks she's alone. And then he like is in there staring at her. And
Yeah,
she,
he's supposed to be going to work, and then he
While
creepily
on
comes
the
back
phone
and
with
But like
watches.
he doesn't like tell her he's there. He's not like, hey. He just like walks in and watches her, and then she's like, hey, do you knock? And he offers her. Well, he asks her if she will stay the week.
Well, he's trying to close a deal with a client.
Yeah.
And he needs apparently a woman on his arm for some of these events, right?
Yeah.
Is that basically
Yeah.
the idea?
And so he wants
It
her
just
to stay.
instills confidence in him as a man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And other men will see
He is
How
obviously
important he is
virile, so I should
if
do
he
business
has a lady
with him.
on his arm. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And so he offers it to her, and she's like, and he's like, wait, what happened? Does he offer?
Well, they
her
haggle
a
over the
charge first?
price.
Well, who says the first thing?
She says it'll cost you, and I'm like, what, $600?
No, right?
Yeah.
But then she comes
She's
out with
like
$4,000.
She says $4 grand,
grand.
and then he says 2,
And then she says 3.
and they settle on 3.
3.
Yeah.
And then there's like, this is jumping ahead like to the end of the scene, but there's a part where he's like, or no, where she's like, I would have done it for 2, and he's like, I would have paid 4.
Yeah.
And
And I'm like, if you can afford it, then why are you haggling
I
with
know,
her? She
right?
clearly needs the money.
supposed to be
Is that
cute.
supposed to be? Is that
Flirtatious.
supposed to be romantic?
yes, it
It
is.
is, but I was like,
Barf. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. Have we talked about how tiny his eyes are? I just feel
Yeah.
like we
So
need to revisit
small.
this. Like I'm disturbed by the tininess of his eyes. Like I feel like I understand he's supposed to be a sex symbol, but I just cannot. He's like a cartoon character.
Yeah.
He's like Do you guys remember Doug?
Yes,
Yeah,
he
On
does.
Nickelodeon.
Yeah,
he
does
has
look
like
Doug.
Doug's eyes. Okay, I'm sorry. I had to
Doug's
bring that up
nose.
again. It's he does. He's like Doug if Doug grew up and wore a suit and had a very snarky attitude.
I'm just like, I'm picturing a person who's like bald like Doug, tiny eyes like Richard Gere, and then no neck like that guy from Pajama Game.
And you are turned
And a
on.
nose
It's
like
terrifying.
Like a T-Rex.
It reminds me of like the thing with the hands and the eyes in that Guillermo
yeah.
del Toro movie.
Pan's
Oh,
Labyrinth.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
it reminds me
Yeah,
of.
yeah, no,
freaky.
that's not good. That's
Creepy.
not a hybrid I want to think about.
No.
So,
Welcome to your nightmares, listeners.
basically what I was getting from everything with Richard Gere's relationships and this is that he's not capable of a normal relationship, so he has to
Yeah.
pay for one.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when does he say that, like we're the same, like we both screw people for money?
I don't remember that. Is that a line
Yes.
in the
He
movie?
That is a line in the
does.
movie. I wrote it down.
It's like
Jesus.
later in the movie. I think it's like
Oh.
towards the end when she and him are both kind of like falling for each other, and he's like, "We both screw each other for money," and then it's like a dig at her, and she's like all upset about it.
He is abusive in every sense of the
I
word.
know.
Like he puts
Nasty.
her down, he controls her, he sees her as his property, and like I understand he's paying for her, but like I think the fact that she is his property is part of his attraction to her,
I agree.
which is real fucking gross to me. For a movie that is supposed to be one of the most romantic movies of all time,
It's very.
Is it?
It's
people hold it up in the pantheon of
it is in the
romantic
it is in the
fucking movies. Yeah.
Pantheon,
I
Hillary.
never thought that it was like romantic in any way.
So after the first shopping trips, we're gonna go back. I feel like I feel like we can talk sort of about how they get closer. Like they sort of they're.
Are we
I
going on a
hesitate
date?
to
Are we
call it a
talking about a date now?
relationship, but yeah, let's talk about this date. So she goes on a date with him.
But is it a date or is it a business meeting?
It's a business meeting that he takes her to. I don't know
as a
why.
date. Yeah, it doesn't make any damn sense.
Yeah.
They didn't bring their wives or girlfriends,
No.
so it's not as if it's like a social gathering. They're there to
Yes.
talk about business.
But is it a distraction? Is it a power play? Is this a
think it-
business
I
tactic?
don't
I
understand.
think
so.
they were saying that like he would be coming on too strong if he came by himself. So if he brought another person, it'd be more casual. So he needed to
His
bring a
masculinity
date to,
is
like,
just
I
too
think that was
intimidating.
actually what he was talking to George Costanza about.
Yes,
Yeah.
he was
Yes.
talking to George
He was
Costanza
like,
about
because
that.
he wanted to go, and
Yeah.
he was like, "No, don't worry, I've got a gal."
yeah.
Like his masculinity is just too potent.
Yeah.
when
his
he's by
musk is
himself.
too strong.
He may just like
But,
slap him in
he
the face.
knows that she's not from the upper crust, so
Yeah.
he knows that she's probably not going to know what damn fork to use. She didn't go to Cotillion like some
No.
of us did. Myself,
What?
I went to Cotillion.
Oh,
Your
God,
stories
I'm
are
so
so
glad I didn't
interesting,
do that.
Natalie. I just want
Please
to talk
tell
about
us
you
more.
all night.
Please tell us more.
I was taller than all of the men, by men I mean 13-year-old boys, and
God.
I rarely had someone to dance with because 13-year-old boys
Did they
don't like being
teach you how to
shorter.
use the escargot
They-
utensil?
They did not, but they did teach you what all the different forks and knives and things are, and how to set a table, and
Well,
how to write
Barney
a
gives
thank
her a
you note.
lesson about
he
that.
gave her a
Yeah.
small cotillion.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's what
Basically.
that is. Okay.
But he didn't teach her the escargot thing. Which,
not,
speaking of,
which
I've
fair.
had escargot before. I've never seen it served like that.
Well, I
haven't
imagine
either.
you just rip it open with your hands, right?
right.
have, like,
I
a
mean,
little
in
fork
the
and you
normal
kinda can
world,
push
you
it
just
out.
like like suck it out of this shell like that.
Never eaten that before.
I hope you enjoy that later
I've-
when you're
I
editing.
need, I need to bring up something really important that really baffled me about this film. I don't understand the order in which these dishes are served.
Why was salad at the end?
It was like,
the
and
salad
there was
never
no salad.
came.
Salad
Never
never
came.
came.
Like they had.
But she did have sorbet in the middle of the meal, which those are my favorite meals. Is when they
Wait.
just bring you ice cream in the middle of
Is
it.
that what usually happens? I was so
Yeah,
confused.
She had
Palate
she had a
cleanser.
palate cleanser, like a
Is
little
that what
green
that is?
sorbet.
I didn't
Yeah.
understand
I
because
learned
I
that
was
from
like,
Princess
okay, so they
Diaries.
brought out lunch meat. They brought out like olive loaf.
Yeah.
Then they brought out snails. Then they brought out dessert. The salad never came.
Well, but it's not dessert though; it's a palate cleanser before your
Okay.
main course.
I don't
think that the
understand
guys
what happened.
They stormed out before the dinner because they said something about like,
Like,
enjoy your dinner.
And I was like, what the fuck have they been eating?
I
the whole
don't
time?
understand.
I've only ever
I
had
thought it was
one
like
meal
tapas,
like that,
like,
and it was
the whole
like
time.
I've only ever had one meal where it was served with like a palate cleanser, and it was very strange. But well, maybe I've had two, but like it's served like in a little champagne glass, and it's like green sorbet with champagne normally on it. And I remember that was one of the times that like
Where was this? I don't understand any
I
of
went
these
to
rich
like a
people
resort
things.
when I was a kid. Like my parents stayed at like some weird resort. Like I hardly remember anything about it, but I remember it because I was allowed to have champagne that night.
How old were you?
Well, it was because it was on the sorbet, and
Okay.
that's why it was like such a big deal. Like it's literally like a splash of it on there,
So
and
you
like,
got wasted.
but I was super excited about it because I was just like, oh, champagne, and like little 10-year-old
Tasting the
Hillary or whatever was
stars.
like super excited about it, but. Like I don't know. Like that's the only thing that I know about it is just like it's served in between courses. I never felt like it was a palate cleanser. I was just always like ice cream in the middle of dinner.
I know.
Princess
I did
Diaries.
not understand.
That's how I
Princess did
learned.
not
I don't
understand.
Because
understand these-
she didn't know what it was either.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't. I thought they were having dessert in the middle of
She just
dinner.
tucked into her ice
I
cream
don't
and then gave
understand how
herself
people
brain
can
freeze.
eat that much. Like I get full after one appetizer.
I know. I feel
have
like I
one
would have.
appetizer,
I would
I'm
have
like,
had.
I'm done.
Yeah, I would have
meal.
had the
I'm happy
olive
to do
loaf
that.
and the snails, and I probably would have been okay for a little
I
I
while.
smoke a lot of
fine.
weed. I could just like eat
That's
for
true.
days. It was like days. Just like keep
that
it
is
coming,
true.
and
it
I'll
needs
just
to,
keep
it depends
eating.
on what I'm like, how I'm going into this meal.
Like if I've got a J in my bag and I can walk outside and like take a couple puffs, like we can go all night.
Maybe we should
Do
remake
it
Pretty
achieve in the
Woman with
basement.
Yeah.
with you and then Andy as Richard Gere. Maybe that's
Oh
what we
my
should do.
god. And we're just like blazing up at the table like, what's up guys? We're gonna order us a couple more courses. You gonna finish that, bro?
So they go on the date. The meeting doesn't go well, and he's pouting hardcore about it. Won't even really talk to her after dinner. Like they get home, she's like trying to.
But it goes
Beef-
bad because isn't it because he's an asshole? Like, didn't he do
Yes.
something to them? Didn't he? Is this the part where he's like already called in the senator favor or whatever?
Well,
at this point?
they
hold
don't
on.
want
Where
to.
is
It's a family company. The old guy doesn't want his company sold.
Well, but the old guy's really cute to her, by the way. He
Yeah,
is.
no, they're nice.
The young guy seems a little judgy.
he
Oh,
seems
no.
a little douchey.
That
he's,
is, but
does
he's a
play
little
polo.
Donald J. Trump Jr.
the
yeah,
young
yes,
dude,
he
yeah,
is.
and then he tries to like play it up later. But the old dude is always just like, I mean, when she's sitting there trying to figure out what fork to use, he's like, "Oh, don't worry, I never knew which one to use either." And he's
Yeah.
very nice to her.
And he like shows that he eats it with his hands, so it's cool. So
well,
can she.
and
Edward's been pulling some things behind the scenes to get an advantage in the sale.
And he's like gotten a dirty politician that's like in his pocket to
Mm-hmm.
stop a military contract that this dude's
Yes.
business is going to get. Like this
Yeah.
dude's
He's a
business
boat
is
builder.
starting.
That's how they're going to keep the
Right.
Yeah, they keep the business afloat.
So and he's
yeah.
but like the meeting goes bad because he's a dick. It's
Yeah.
not her fault.
No, it's not her
I
fault.
mean, like he fucking does it. He hires this dirty politician to
Yeah,
do
no,
it.
he's a fucking twisted dick.
But then he takes it out on her.
she was precious.
Sarah like twisted dick. That's going to
like
be
a
the name
fancy
of my
cider.
my band,
Oh my god.
Twisted Dick.
Yes.
It really sounds like a cider to me.
Twisted Dick. It's just got like a
Twisted
crooked
dick.
penis on the front. The
buy
bottle
that.
is
I would
shaped
buy
like
that
a crooked
so-
penis.
Oh my god,
So
I would buy that
much.
wine so hard.
I would.
Oh my god.
I would save that bottle. Plant
Yes.
something in it. I don't know.
God, I have a really pretty
But
one.
if you
at home
drink it,
that's
it
got
like
a rose
pours
on it.
all over you because it's like so
So it's
twisted.
super
It's like
it's
twisted,
super
It
messy.
just like leaks out the side, kind of like the spray is just like off to the
The-
side when you pour it.
the wine
No
comes
aim.
out too quickly
Yeah,
before you're ready to
it's
drink
over
it.
before you're
There's-
even like feeling anything.
There's no warning. It just happens.
Or as we like to call it, getting pool housed.
Oh my god,
for sure.
it's from our last film, Fast Times.
So they go back to the hotel. She's trying to chat him up. He wants nothing to do with it. This is when we get the scene where he like goes downstairs. He's like, go off to bed with you. Like he dismisses her to bed.
Yeah.
And then he goes downstairs. At some point she wakes up and she goes downstairs and he is just pounding on that piano.
Well, he also doesn't dismiss her to bed until she says he reminds you of your dad, doesn't he? Like you like him.
Oh.
Like she calls him out on it and is just like, you don't want to take his business because you like him. And he's like, off to bed with you.
Goodbye, woman.
I'm gonna
You
go
are no longer
downstairs
needed.
and
He
work.
actually say off to bed with you?
No.
No, but it's something like that.
He's like, I'm gonna go downstairs and work. You go to sleep.
Yeah, he
Like,
tells
it's
her what to
literally
do.
like-
He does tell her what to
Yeah.
do for sure.
And this is around the time that I wrote down that basically they both are coming to the conclusion that not coming to the conclusion, they both already have the conclusion that you can't get emotional with any kind of business. And that's
Yeah.
another reason that they're the same, because they know you can't be emotional in this kind of world.
Right. And
Oh,
that's
is
is
that
why
where they
can't
have
kiss
this
this
on
is
the
talk?
why
mouth.
she doesn't kiss on the mouth.
Yeah.
Yes, because Kid has told her that if you kiss on the mouth, you'll fall in love with your John.
Because,
Yeah.
that's
That's,
how, that's
how that works.
only
The
way
feelings
that's-
come in the saliva.
Yeah.
The feelings come in the mouth for sure. The mouth hole.
Mhm. Yeah.
Mouth to
That's
mouth.
why I have such a tawdry
Actually, the-
relationship with my food.
Indeed.
The
Indeed.
feelings
Indeed.
come when your juices mingle down there.
You sound like my Catholic high
No,
school
I'm
teacher.
I'm so serious though. There's like when women have sex with men and there's no like protection and like there's stuff inside
Not stuff,
women's
semen.
bodies. No, not semen. Like our
I'm
our
fascinated
own, our
by
own
this.
stuff that like mixes with men. Not necessarily their semen,
So
but
it's
their
like a
skin.
human smoothie, is what
And
you're saying.
it causes this kind of like this kind of like love type thing.
Okay.
With
Is that why I like
women.
latex so much?
And it doesn't happen for men. Like men
Condom
can
joke.
stick their
I like
penises
it.
anywhere and they don't feel that
Allergic to
same
latex.
connection.
Where did you where does
sheepskin
this
for you.
information come from?
Always.
Oh, from like
Sheepskin or die.
science books and like
Okay.
it's
Okay.
like it's a
Can we
known
get an
thing.
article about this up on the
Yeah.
page? I'd love to
Sure.
hear more about this. So, long story short, guys, if you don't want to fall in love, use a condom.
Use a
Okay.
condom.
Don't mix your smoothies together. So she goes downstairs.
Don't mix your smoothies
Yeah,
together.
don't mix your smoothies together.
Right.
You keep your salt in your jar. He keeps his pepper in his jar. So you go down. She goes downstairs,
I
and
think
he
it
is
has
just
the salt.
She's
Let's
wearing
be real.
her
he-
robe.
She's wearing a robe and negligee, which I thought she had not bought.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, is
Was
this?
that
No,
her
she
slip?
bought it after the shopping spree. She went shopping with the ladies, and like after he was like, "My dick is so huge, I'm going to spend an obscene amount of
because
money."
the date was before the shopping spree with him.
Yeah.
That's the next
I think
morning.
it was
So
her
I don't know
slip.
where she
Oh.
got the. Oh, it was her
I think
slip.
it was her slip because it was black.
She's wearing this like negligee, black negligee thing, which to be truthful, growing up in the 80s and 90s, I thought that if you were going to have sex with a person, everyone
had to?
had that that outfit, and that was your sex outfit.
I don't think I've ever had a sex outfit. I've never had lingerie or anything like that.
Tried that once when I
It's
was in
so
my 20s.
impractical.
It
'Cause
seems
you have
very
to get dressed
impractical.
to get undressed.
Well,
I know.
frankly,
I'd
I don't know
rather
about
just
you
get
guys, but my husband, I could be wearing a bear suit, and I feel like he really wouldn't. It wouldn't.
Yeah.
Pay it. He doesn't. He's not interested in the package. He's interested in
In
what's
what's
inside
of
the
it.
package.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't care if it comes in an Amazon box. It's still going to be fun inside.
Yeah, it's more like he doesn't want he doesn't want there to be too much tape to dig through. You know, it's
Yeah.
just like
straps.
yeah,
or,
not
you know.
doesn't.
I
want
had
a
a
lot.
roommate in college who, like, every time she would have a dude over, like, she'd just take up the bathroom for like 45 minutes
Oh my
because she'd be,
God.
like, get into like a sex outfit.
See if
a lot.
guys who like
It was a
expect
lot.
That, like,
I think
that's-
it's fun.
I don't think they
I think it's
expected
fun.
it. I think she liked to do it, and
Yeah.
that's fine. Like, if that's what you like.
Look, I get into
Do what makes
clothes.
you feel
I get into
good.
clothes. I do.
She was very into clothes, very into makeup, like, and I get it, but also I was just like, girl, every time, like, you've been out with this dude like 10 times.
Like,
like,
give
at
it
this
up now. I
point,
mean, he's already
let him
you've already
take your
re-
jeans off, you know? Like, come on.
Fine.
No, he doesn't
Um,
need the silk nightie. Like,
So she
illusion
goes
should be
downstairs.
shattered.
He is hammering away at the keys,
In the
and I
zone.
mean
Yeah.
a piano. He's at a piano. Meanwhile, all the guys that work in the kitchen are just like, "Hey, if you could wrap this up, bro."
do you know how
Um,
much more impressive it
I'm
would have
supposed to be
been?
getting off right now.
Yeah.
I just had this like flash of like how much more impressive would it have been if he was just like performing like Andrea Bocelli style opera in there, and he was just like
I was gonna say, like, what if he was down there doing like a
Like, that
stand
would've
up,
been amazing.
a stand up set?
Yeah, just like down there doing his
Just
hands.
doing-
Like, so I went out with this hooker the other day.
Oh my god. Maybe you guys can help me fill in the blanks. They do it on the piano.
They do it on the
we
piano.
don't
'cause
see them do it completely, but like there's like this
kinda
like
steamy, though.
sexy like
Well, she
he
does-
likes being played.
he like
he like pushes her down.
he
on
like
the piano.
runs his hand down her
seems
chest.
very possessive.
It
like
is very possessive. It's
I've-
like you have
And he
mine.
picked her up and put her on the piano.
yeah, like this is my like I'm done playing the piano now. Now I want to play with this other thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Also, there's a lot of her sitting in places where he disapproves of her sitting.
Yeah.
Well, her butt
There's a lot of her
hits the
butt,
keys a
yeah,
couple
her
of
butt
times.
Hits the keys.
And their foot hits the keys.
And there's no music in the background. It's the only sound is them hitting the keys,
Yeah.
which was very strange to me.
You know, this had to have been the hottest
the-
scene in the 1990s. though,
steamy,
people.
steamy
Like,
scene.
And then everybody who was like coming home from like a late dinner just heard like
Oh
God, no.
like coming from the ballroom, and they were like, "What? Like what band is playing in there?" And the hotel manager was like, "Don't worry about it, Mr. Smith. Just head to your room, please."
I was just
But,
picturing the
like-
next morning was like, Edward, you know you're a valued customer, but see, it's the piano. It's very expensive, and
It's very sticky.
your
today.
your semen has frozen all of the keys together, and we're going to have to get a replacement piano.
Fuck ton of semen.
so much.
We've hired.
He just pulled out, laid his dick on all the keys, and just slowly dragged them across the game.
The piano
Took 'em
player
all together.
The piano we've played, the piano player we've had can only play C and D. All the other keys are inexplicably stuck together, sir. I'd very much like it if you could help us out with that
But it seems so
by not spraying your semen all over the piano
uncomfortable.
next time.
Doesn't that seem uncomfortable to sit on a piano and have someone like pound you? Like that just sounds so uncomfortable.
Well,
Like
look,
the
we
same
didn't
four
see it.
keys are played with every thrust. Like,
Look,
no.
guys, we didn't see it. It's very possible that he very gently,
Later on one
And
of those dirty tables that
lovingly-
they'd been eating on all night.
very gently and lovingly. I don't know where that's going.
I want to know.
I don't know where that's going.
Inserted.
I'm just saying we did it. It just inserted gently with care.
And just swirled it around his head.
Stirred it around.
He could have just pool housed it, guys, and gone in there and been like, "Oh God!" Well,
That
we're
seems-
done now.
I feel like with this type of guy, that's really more likely.
Probably.
I think this could have been a pool house kind of situation. Anyway, they do it on the piano. But we don't see it because even though this movie is rated R, we don't get.
We don't get to
we
see
don't
anything
get
fun.
we don't get any.
Thanks
of
a
that.
lot, Gary Marshall.
Yeah, Gary Marshall. Come on.
What was I supposed to masturbate to? Come on.
The sound
God.
of keys
sound of keys hitting
discordantly
It
being.
it doesn't do it for me, you guys. Sorry, maybe I'm just desensitized, but just not turned on by pianos anymore.
Not anymore. So this is, I think, a series of moments where, and he tries to kiss her during the scene, and she doesn't let him. Then we see a
Right.
lot of other things happening. Of course, we have the shopping trip, which we mentioned, where he takes her out shopping. She at some point bathes him like a baby
Yeah,
in the
that was-
bathtub,
Oh my
where he
God,
lays
that
in her
was so
lap.
Strange.
And then we get several really bizarre close-ups of his hairy nipple, which I'm just not
I
sure
know, like,
what
why?
that's about.
Hairy
Like,
nipple.
I don't know.
He was like, look, he
artistically-
is a man. He didn't have much chest hair, but we caught these 4 strands.
I just don't know what that was all about. Maybe that's why it's rated R, because of
That
Richard
nipple.
Gere's nipple.
God, that forest of nipple hair.
She bathes him. They start telling each other things about themselves. We get this scene where I feel like, which is even though I haven't seen the movie before until this very, I feel like an iconic scene of her and him laying in bed together, where we just see her back and like her hair like splayed out, and she's
Yeah.
basically telling him, "I just kind of got into sex work because I needed a summer job."
Yeah.
Pretty much.
That's kind of, we get that
My friend
conversation.
made it sound really cool.
I mean, who among us hasn't?
Well, she says she cried the first time,
I know. That's
so
so sad.
sad.
It's so upsetting.
but realer than the way they really present
Yeah,
it.
way
They're just
realer than
very
the way they present
sanitizing the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my question about that is, does she actually get? Has she ever actually gotten $100 an hour? Because I don't think she
so.
has. And was she just
good
like,
question.
that sounds like a lot of money?
Well,
I don't
Kit,
think she
Kit
has.
tells her to charge that right before she
right,
gets in
because
the car.
of how nice the car is.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I didn't catch that bit.
Is it?
And she tells
that
him
where
she
it
loves him.
Yeah.
I know. I just
She goes, I love you.
and
But like
then
in a
he's-
really like submissive, like
Wait,
not
is
like
that where it happens?
think
Or
it
does
happens after
the opera.
It happens after the
Oh,
opera.
the
Oh,
opera.
I was like,
Right.
she
Because
doesn't
they get
kiss
on a
him after the
plane.
fight.
No,
and
no,
they
no.
go-
You're right. They go to the opera. She wears the dress. There's this iconic scene of him snapping her fingers, which I know is supposed to be cute, but again made me feel grossed out because he's like, here's this pretty necklace I've been giving you, but always remember, I control all the things that you have, and you can't even touch this necklace without me snapping your fingers.
I think
it just ugh.
every time I see this scene now, I think of the parody of it in 30 Rock.
Yeah.
Oh, please
Where
explain.
Jack is taking Liz to like some event, and like he shows up to give her this thing, and she's like he shows her
Is
the
it
diamond
cheese?
necklace. No, it's a diamond necklace, and he's like showing it to her, and then she's like, "Oh my god!" And she puts her hand on it like Julia Roberts does, and then he flips the lid closed on her hand, and then she goes, "Ow! Fuck! That hurt! God! How could you do that to me like that? Really? I
Yeah.
think my fingers." And she's like really upset that he like snapped this
Which
box
is
closed.
realistic.
And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. And like it was obviously supposed to be like this cute little moment.
Yeah.
And she was like, "That fucking hurt." And like,
What
it
is
was
wrong
great.
with you?
It like I can't think of this scene anymore because she like
Yeah.
laughed so much. But I do think that wasn't that laugh spontaneous.
It
Did you look
was.
that
Yeah.
up? It was.
That
was not
yeah.
supposed to happen in this.
He
scene, and it was,
improvised.
like, a
He
cute
improvised
moment.
that moment of closing the box, and so
Yeah.
the laugh is
Her
genuine.
laugh is genuine.
But
yeah.
that moment, I feel like, is for many years
I love her
defined
so
her
much. Me
as
too.
that was a scene that was really tied into her iconography as an actress.
yeah.
Was that, sort of gorgeous woman with this really sparkling personality who's like down to earth and fun and anyway, back to this movie.
Oh my god.
But I
she's
know
in
I
a
feel
red
like
dress.
she's in a red dress, right? She goes to the opera.
They take a
They
plane.
take a plane, which is really faster than driving.
Could you not have found a theater
That's
in LA?
such a
for fuck's sake?
power play too. Like I'm gonna.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go on a plane.
But if
He
you're going to
doesn't
go on
tell
a
her where they're
plane,
going.
why not
Also-
fly to Rome?
Yeah,
I don't
that's
wanna
what I
get
thought
on
that
a
they were going to
plane
do.
in
I
that
was like,
dress
oh, they're getting to
either.
Paris.
Like,
You know?
hey,
Yeah.
let's get on a plane. I'm going to fly you over. I'm going to fly you over to Anaheim. I mean, like, come on. At least take her somewhere a little further than. I mean, I realize San Francisco's a couple hour, like 6-hour drive or whatever, but
Is it?
yeah, it's pretty far.
Oh, okay. Well, then flying is faster.
But still dumb. So anyway, they go to the opera, and he's basically, this is, I guess, his litmus test for whether he can love her. Will
Is
she
the
cry
opera?
during the opera?
Does she
Yeah.
love the opera? Because you either love it or
and
you hate it.
she
and you
does,
know
and then
immediately.
he has this smug like.
You guys can't see this at home, but Natalie had this very intense expression when she said that.
You know immediately.
You
Yeah,
love it
you
or
know.
you hate it.
And if you hate it, you might come to appreciate it, but you'll never have it in your soul.
But luckily, don't worry,
Your
guys.
soul is dead.
It was so good she almost peed her pants. So
Yeah.
it's all good.
It's true.
I thought she almost liked it as much as Pirates of Penzance.
Oh, you see, I don't know.
See, I don't know what she said.
Again, he's
I'm
still
so
embarrassed
confused.
by her.
So embarrassed.
You had
know.
something you were going to say, Sarah. I feel
No,
like.
it was just that she was like crying, and then like the camera pans to him, and he's just like,
Watching her like, yeah, that's right.
Creepily
My
watching
woman
her
is
still.
crying during opera.
yeah, that's right.
Check that box off. So after that,
Also,
also,
opera's
can we-
amazing.
One more thing about
Sure.
the opera thing with
Yeah.
the glasses. How she's
Yeah.
like, I can't figure it out, and he's like, here. It's just little things like that
I
just
know.
happen throughout the film.
all very condescending.
Yeah.
It's condescending. It's like she's a baby that he has to take care of. But then, actually, Sarah and I discussed this during the bathing scene. I'm not going to backtrack to that, but it seems like he wants someone who he completely can control,
Like a child.
like a child, and sexually, but who's also his mommy
Yeah.
who takes care of him.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think
Which
that a
is
lot of
so
men want
gross.
that.
I hope not. I feel like that's a
Not
perception.
explicitly, they don't think that way, but like if they're not thinking, I want a mommy and a sex child. Like they, you know what I mean?
Mommy and a sex
Hashtag sex child.
No, don't
No.
hashtag that.
Nope, don't hashtag it.
that.
Let's
No.
not trend that.
Don't.
Nope, let's not trend that.
Don't. I don't want it associated with our
Nope,
podcast.
nope. That's definitely something that Donald Trump would tweet. Okay.
You can tweet it at him though.
Yeah, I don't
Hashtag
think they
sex child.
I don't
at
think
real
they
Donald Trump.
think that specifically, but I think it is kind of like a subconscious desire.
I hope not.
You know, but not.
I mean,
you know
I
what
think our society does train women to take care of
the
others and to take
caretaking.
care of men.
but also
I do.
to be needed to be in need of. You know what I'm trying to say? They need to be taken care of too. They need, you to like tell them what to do and like teach them things and like explain things to them. And
I don't
like,
think I've ever met a man who likes me explaining things to him.
That's very true.
No,
I know
well,
what
I'm saying
Sarah's
men.
getting at.
No, I'm saying the men want a woman who needs things to be explained to them.
The reverse of that.
Reverse of that.
Okay.
Yeah, I
was
wasn't
like,
sure where you're going
No.
with that, but now I get it.
Yeah.
I definitely think I think those are the gender roles we're often pushed into. And I want to refute that, but I also know that despite living in what I consider to be a modern relationship, I do get saddled with a lot of the caretaking and the picking up after. And I know I have children and I have to take care of them. I mean, that also just spills over to,
As a single adult, I get saddled with a lot of the cleaning and the caretaking too, and I really don't.
No, I'm
like
talking
it.
about like washing my husband's clothes
I'm talking about washing my own clothes. I
and
don't want to do
picking
it.
up his
I-
socks for him,
Do that too. And I don't have children, but I am married.
right? And like it's like you want to bust out of it.
Yeah.
You
then
try
I'm
so
also
hard.
like, then you'll have no underwear.
That's the thing is
And I'm,
that
like,
they
very
like I don't
conflicted.
know what happened. Like I don't know when like our relationship.
God, I'll just be the worst wife, you guys, if that's something
but
that's
I wish
expected
it
of me.
wasn't
I
that
can
way.
hardly
Like
keep
everybody
myself.
should wash their own fucking underwear.
The other day, I ordered socks from Amazon Prime Now because I was out, and I was like, "Well, not gonna do laundry by the morning. Better get some delivered."
I think that it would be easier
love
to
it.
to
You should just marry
separate that if
Christo.
you're just married without kids. Like
He'll have to
to
take care of me. He'll hate it.
like. I think when you introduce kids into a relationship, it's like it's so much harder to divide that.
Oh.
You know,
You
when
find
someone has a
yourself
job-
falling into a much more traditional
Yeah.
gender roles, and it's something I don't feel good about, but somehow it happened, and now that it's that way, I don't know how to get out of it.
Yeah.
But I also live in a situation where Chris goes to work and he's providing the like again this somehow it got into this thing where at some point we decided one of us makes more money than the other one, and one of us has the boobs to breastfeed and the other one doesn't, and so then that happens where one person gets to continue to focus on the career and the other person has to continue to focus on the kids because you want the kids to be raised by their parents, and it gets very complicated, and it's like we're set up
We are
to
set
live
up.
that way,
And
and
it's
it's
not-
hardly very little other choices there.
It goes beyond just not making as much money. What you said about the breast, like
Yeah.
even having breasts and even having the child grow inside you, like that creates this divide.
But if the society were different and you could just take that baby wherever, like if you could just continue to parent while going to work, it wouldn't have to be that way. But that's not the way that the society is. Also, in addition, I would add, if society was set up in a way where Chris could continue to work in the job that he works in, but spend more time at home, and the childcare splitting was a little more equal, I think he would do that. But that's, again, not the society we live in. Like, you either go to work full time or you don't.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. I feel like we got really sidetracked
way
here.
off.
But,
They're leaving the opera.
Yeah,
they're leaving the opera. This is when they do it. They do it on the mouth.
They do it. She kisses him on the mouth. They do it on the mouth, guys.
They do it on the
he
mouth.
finally, so he
They
takes
exchange
the
all their mouth
day
juices.
off and finally gets some sleep.
That's right.
Yes.
Which has been something that apparently he's not been able to do ever.
Yeah.
Sleep.
It's all that testosterone, right?
You know, he's just too manly to sleep.
Yep.
Right. And but he falls asleep too, and then she goes over and sits basically on him and then kisses him
mouth.
like 3 times or something, and then is just like, he won't wake up. It'll be fine. And then I'm just like, bitch. And then she's like, he wakes up and she's like, oh no, you caught me.
I thought that that's kind of what she wanted to happen.
Was it?
Yeah, that's
It
what
was
I
very
thought.
strange to me.
Also, I am frequently nauseated by movie kissing. Like this was
This wasn't
like,
the worst one though. I even wrote it down. This isn't the grossest kissing scene I've seen.
It's
on
not
this
the
podcast.
grossest, but there was some lip nibbling going on that I was not entirely comfortable with.
But it was better than the weird baby kisses we've seen. Where
Oh,
it's like,
for sure.
ugh.
But also, like,
No.
I just feel like they don't really have chemistry. I felt like they had chemistry in the piano scene.
Yeah, the piano scene was a
That
little
was
steamy.
it. That was it,
it.
really. Other than that,
And then
it
in
was
this
just
scene, I
like a
didn't.
really beautiful interesting woman kissing a piece of wood.
Yeah.
To me.
True.
Yeah.
True. And then she says, I love you.
Oh no! But she says it in this really like, I love you.
It seemed like,
Like
she
a-
said
like
it
a-
like she was falling asleep. Like it was
Yeah.
like the last
Or
thing
like
she
she
said
was
before
like-
drifting
or it
off
felt
into
like
sleep.
That like a
You don't do that when
Like
you
a-
drift off to sleep?
well, it was like a guy like orgasming, and it was like I love you, I love you.
I just thought that was like how women fell asleep. It's just like, I love you.
I spoil episodes of Game of Thrones in my sleep.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Mm.
So they do it on the mouth. And she says she loves him. And he immediately has the same look on his face that high school boys do.
Where it's like,
Where he's like, wait.
Like he's like a little constipated.
I didn't pay for that.
Like, girl, why'd
he
you say
doesn't
it first?
There's like too long of a pause. Like he doesn't say anything, and then like the scene ends, and it's just like
Well,
that was
a small modicum of
Modicum.
upsetness
It
appears
wasn't even
on
a
his...
modicum. It was a modicrum.
A modicum, a mitochondriacrum
oh my god.
of sadness
I don't get into
appears
biology class.
on his wooden face where you can tell he's not happy about it. I can only assume because he didn't tell her to say she loves him first. If he had
But
told
also,
her...
he doesn't want the commitment.
Yeah,
And
well,
he's
yeah, that's the
leaving.
thing.
No, he's just so
But he's jealous,
dumb.
but he's leaving.
Well, the next day, basically,
He tries to buy her a condo.
tries to buy her, put her in a dollhouse
Yeah.
in the tower. Tries to put her in the tower.
Which, if you would like to buy me a condo,
You can send your
Email.
pics of the condo to femininemistakepodcast@gmail.com. Attention, Hillary.
yeah.
So
Preferably
he's
in
going back
Midtown.
to New York. This is their last day together after they do it on the mouth. This is their last day together, and he's basically like, he's like, I want to see you again, and she thinks he's gonna be like, but I'm not gonna pay you this time because now we're like a thing, and I want you to go study with me. But instead, he offers to put her up in a castle, where he
Yeah.
can come and
When
visit
are
her
we gonna
anytime
talk
he wants.
about her fantasy?
I think now's a good time.
Oh God, it bothers me so much. This like white knight speech she gives
Yeah.
of like,
Let's tell the listeners, in case maybe they haven't seen
what
it.
was it? Do you remember, Sarah?
So her mom used to lock her in the attic when she was
Yeah.
misbehaving when she was a kid.
Can we talk about how? Can we just drop a like that's fucked up?
Yeah. So she would, when she was alone in the attic, she would have this fantasy that this white knight would ride up to the house and climb up to get her in the attic and like bring her down, and they'd ride off together. And that's like, I think that's what men believe that women's fantasies are.
And that's what a big portion of my issue with this is like, it was obviously written by a man who thinks that this is like a woman's dream, but also my issue with it is like, he is more or less offering her that in a way.
Yeah.
And she's saying, I really want to be saved, but you're not saving me right. And it kind of bothers me in a way.
'cause
Like,
she-
this is where the movie goes off the rails and her personality completely changes for no reason for me.
Yeah.
I mean, girl, you did this for money. Like, I mean, I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand she's a person with feelings, but like suddenly this is, like, this was okay, and like suddenly now it's not okay. Like, it is a little confusing.
Right.
And basically her fantasy is that.
I know.
That she wants someone to come in and save her from her life and take her away and put her up somewhere nice. And
Right.
then he's like, okay, I'll do that. And she's like, whoa, you are not treating me right the
Yeah.
way that you're saying that you're going to do that.
She's
And
like,
I'm
that wasn't exactly how my fantasy went.
I'm like, yo, dude.
And I'm
He's
not
not had a problem with the rest of his shit this movie. Why are
Right.
you having a problem now?
like, there are so many red flags that really should have set her off up till this point. Also, forgive me if I'm mistaken, but I don't remember him saying he was going to pay her the way he's been paying her. He
No.
offered to
Buy her a condo.
buy her a condo,
Yeah.
which she could come and go as she pleased.
Yeah, but she
I
would still
assume-
be his in LA sex girl.
Yes.
Yes. He would be his, that would be his LA.
I thought he was going to buy her the
House.
condo in New York.
Oh, I thought he was buying it
I thought he
in
was
LA.
buying a condo in New York.
I assumed it was in LA, but I don't know. Did he say?
Yeah,
I don't know.
he
I thought it was in New
specified?
York because that's where he lives. He was just in LA for this one thing.
Oh, see, I don't know if he specified. I had just always imagined he was buying her a condo in LA and then he was going to go back to New York and that's why she wasn't chill with it.
Yeah.
Yes, that
I thought he was
that's
buying her
why
a
she
condo
didn't-
in LA, New York.
That's why she didn't like
Right.
it, because she wouldn't get to see him.
Right. That was,
She would just
I
be-
thought
be
that
in a
was the
condo.
problem.
So so now she's upset that he's trying to solve all of her problems with money.
Well, what
Right.
he's doing is he's trying to put her back in that.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes more sense. Also, I think she needs to spend a little bit of time in therapy or something dealing with that whole mother locked me in an attic thing.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, I think that could be the source of your problems with relationships right there, girlfriend.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a doctor, but I'm just saying
And
there's
her
got to
mom
be
used to call her
some
a bum magnet.
emotional trauma
Oh, yeah.
there. Wow, there's like
But I
a
feel
lot
like
of
every
interesting
girl-
stuff
like
there.
A really
But I feel like when you grow up in
fascinating woman, I'd like to
Milledgeville,
see that movie.
Georgia, like in Milledgeville, Georgia, are there really anybody but bums to date? Let's
No.
be real.
No.
We're all Georgia gals in this room.
I don't know Milledgeville. I can't speak
I've
to the
been there.
male
One of my friends
population.
used to go to that school.
Yeah.
Right. That's
Georgia
the only
College
thing.
Is there a
there.
high bum population?
I don't know.
The
I've only
only
been there
thing
for
there
some.
is
High, like, fratty population.
GCSU,
Yeah,
right?
GCSU,
GCSU
Georgia
is
College
the
and State.
only thing there, really.
So it's just guys that like to watch football and have their girls make Totino's pizza rolls for them, right?
Right.
Oh my god.
Okay.
My hungry guys. My favorite sketch, you guys, on SNL. I love it. It's so good. Vanessa Bayer, you're my queen.
So I think we've dug into a little bit more why she doesn't like this. I think it's fair.
Yeah. That
makes a little more sense
and
now.
she has opened herself up emotionally and is like, this means more to me than just a thing. And he's kind of like,
He's like, I don't give a shit.
It's like I don't really like
my
the
plane's
idea
leaving.
of you sleeping with other men, but also
he's like, I want to possess you,
Yeah.
but I don't like
He's
love
like,
you. in
he's like,
that
I've
way."
messed up these relationships. I had a girlfriend, I had a wife. They both left me. Like, I don't know how to do. That's like the excuse of like the guy that can't commit.
It's
He's
lazy.
like, he's like,
It's a lazy
I
excuse.
messed things up. I'm such a.
I'm bad
bad-
for
I'm
you.
bad
I'm
for
bad
you.
for
Yeah.
you. I'm doing this for you, baby.
doing the
Yeah.
Harry Potter Ginny Weasley thing that drives me
Hillary,
crazy.
you know it so well, don't
Oh,
you? Yes,
God.
yes.
Oh, Hillary.
So bad, you guys.
So
So then
she
Well, he says, I've never treated you like a prostitute, and then he leaves after she turns him
And
down.
this is
Except
when
for-
not Hillary. I'm sorry. This is when Nicole and I like paused and we were like,
Except for
everything
every
the
bit
whole
of your
fucking
relationship
movie.
with her.
yeah.
and then she says, "You just did."
yeah. So she's gathering up her things. We need to talk about this fucking almost rape that happened,
Yeah,
Yeah.
with Phil.
which was really unexpected. I did not see that coming in this movie.
I've seen this 1,000 times. I did.
Well,
but it is
I mean,
very
I
unexpected.
I wasn't surprised. Look, again, it's a man, like it's a game they're playing with her. Like,
Yeah.
so what happens is, I'm not going to go too deeply into this side plot about the business deal. I don't think it's the meat of what we're talking
Nah.
about. But just long story short, Edward decides not to buy off this business. He decides, because he's been changed by the manic pixie dream girl in his life, he decides to become sort of a partner in that business and continue and help the business to thrive. This makes his lawyer very upset.
and then he's just got to go put his dick in something.
To punish, I assume to punish Edward as well as Vivian.
For some reason.
Again, subconsciously,
For
I don't think this
existing?
is like a super
For not
conscious thing that
sleeping
he's
with
doing.
him.
He goes to the hotel room and sort of and begins hardcore hitting on her and rubbing her leg and stuff. And
then he,
basically
like,
he's like, now that he's
attacks
done
her.
with you, like, I want to get in on it. And she's like, no, wants no part of it. And he like jumps on her, physically jumps
Yeah.
on her.
She's
And
like
tries
hitting
to
him off
pull.
and biting him. And
Yeah,
He tries to pull her clothes off. Like, it is like a
it's horrifying.
pretty
it's
intense.
graphic. I'm surprised
Very
that
surprising.
Julia Roberts and what's his face? What's the actor's name?
Jason Alexander.
I'm surprised that they.
Honestly, it
able
was
to
like
do
one
that.
of the realest things
Yeah.
that happened in
Yeah.
this movie,
Yeah.
frankly. But it felt, because it felt really out of place
Yeah.
And then,
in
of
this
course,
rather
Richard Gere had to
sanitized
show up and
universe.
Save the day.
Yeah. I mean, I can see why they did it. They're like, well, we got to have him look like the White Knight. But again, I felt very grossed out by the
Yeah.
whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So,
I really wanted her to break that vase over his head when it fell.
yeah, like, I'd
know.
rather see her save herself.
Yeah, that's what I was
I mean,
wanting.
Like, she tries to push Phil off, Jason Alexander's character off, and he smacks
punches
her.
her in the face.
Punches
Yeah.
her in the face. Yeah.
And then Edward shows up and pulls him off, punches him. So now we're supposed to think he's like he's coming in, he's saving the girl. But it's like, again, there's just two men fighting over some possession. They don't really care about the person.
Yeah, no.
It's a possession they're fighting over. They're like lions fighting over like a carcass that they both want to have. And it's not romantic to me at all. Or some kind of ideal that I would aspire to in a relationship.
No.
That was kind of scary. And in another movie, he wouldn't have come in and saved the day, and it would have just ended with him raping her.
Yeah.
And then it's done. And then probably in that other movie, Richard Gere would have come in while he was raping her, got mad at her for being raped, and then stormed out. And that's how the movie would have ended. And actually, I would have preferred that film.
That's fucked up and fucking true. Like, given what we know about all these characters, I absolutely think if he had walked in 5 minutes later, he would have
Been mad at Vivian.
He would have been mad at her.
Yeah.
For sure. Wow, that's
And then
intense.
she says, well, I'm planning to leave because there's always going to be someone like Stucky, which is literally the first time I wrote down his actual name in this, who thinks it's okay to treat me like that. And he's like, that's not the reason you're leaving. And she's like, it is now.
Yeah.
Like, yo.
I mean, what happened to her was very traumatizing. I mean, I think what she's waiting for is for him to go, let's run away together or whatever, and he doesn't, and so that's like the
And so
reason.
she's like, well, then I'm going to run away.
Yeah.
You know, and go somewhere myself.
I was happy about that. Like,
I
he
was
gives
too.
he gives her the money and she takes it, as
Yeah.
she
She should.
takes it so she can start a new life somewhere else, which is honestly, I would have been happy with the movie ending that way.
I really wanted it
He
to.
has shown her no affection this entire movie.
He
And
kissed
just-
her, Sarah.
but nothing but like disdain. Like he like half-heartedly kisses her. Like it's just like everything is so bland and so like half-hearted that the end, how it ends, is just like why? Like why do you suddenly have any kind of emotion?
I mean, all of it is creepy. So she packs up all her shit. She goes back to her shitty apartment.
Says goodbye to Kit.
Says goodbye to Kit. We didn't talk a whole lot about Kit, but Kit is, they have like this bond or whatever. Kit's upset, but kind of understands. So she's planning to leave. Like, I don't know if she says where she's going, but she's taking this money. She's going to San Francisco. Girl, go to San Francisco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start a new life there.
Going back to high school.
She's going to finish high school, as she should. Richard Gere regrets letting her go. Barney, the manager of the hotel, is like, well, the limo driver that drove her home yesterday is
The other
here.
black guy in this movie.
The other black guy. There's a let's not forget, there's black character who carries the bags and black character who drives the limousine. So that's where we're at here with the casting.
Yeah.
So he basically uses the limo driver to stalk this person who's decided to remove, like, she's like, I'm leaving, and like he doesn't respect her space and gets in, like, creepily follows her and gets directions to her house and shows up in the fucking limo.
And we're supposed
The white limo.
Yeah, the white limo. And we're supposed to think that he's changed as a person because now he's not scared of heights.
Well, he's definitely
He's
seems
still
to-
scared of
still
heights, but
scared
he's,
and
like,
makes her come
able
down
to
the stairs.
handle it a little better because he goes over to the side of the balcony, which he'd never been on before, and he's like, no.
Yeah.
And then he starts climbing up the fire escape, and he's like, I'm scared, come down. But look, I'm trying for you. Look, I'm a better person now.
Well, I think the
You've
main
changed me.
thing that we're supposed to think has changed in him is that he's gone after her. Like, he's sticking his neck out, I guess, to be like, I like you. And he shows up in the limousine like, I'm here on my white horse to rescue you from the tower. And that's the whole thing of him climbing up
I really
the fire escape.
I really hate when, and this has happened in my life too, but when like someone, it could be like a man or a woman, but a lot of times, at least with me, it's men, they do something wrong and they hurt you in some way, and then they like think that they can just like say something or like do like one little thing and just like have it all go away.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, it's hard when you're in relationships with people. They're constantly going to being with people is having them disappoint you and you disappoint them. I mean, that's just going to happen. So everybody has to have a little forgiveness there. But I think we've all been pretty clear that he doesn't at any time really show her any real affection.
No, he doesn't
or
have a whole lot of redeeming qualities here.
appreciate her as a person. She's more like a thing that he wants. And so honestly, I was sad at the. I mean, I knew this was how it was going to end, but I was sad. I wanted to see a strong woman realize that she's worth more than the situation she puts herself in. Like I just spent 3 days with this guy who doesn't see like the true value of me, and I'm gonna take this money out and I'm gonna make my life better. And like I really wanted that for her, but instead he rolls up in the limo, and we're supposed to be happy about that, and I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm just not.
Nope.
So final thoughts on
the last line of the movie.
Oh, go for it.
So I wrote it down. He goes, so what happens after he climbs up and rescues the girl from the window? And she's like, well, she rescues him right back.
Yep, but that's
it's like-
actually
That's how
not
it
the
ends.
last line, because then
Then
the
the
crackhead black
crackhead
dude
starts
has
saying
the
something.
last line.
And it's something
But
about
yeah, I
dreams.
wrote
Does
that.
anyone
Something
know
about
what?
Hollywood and drinks. and-
Hollywood, the place of dreams.
Hollywood dreams, Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that half-hearted attempt at feminism there at the end
Yeah.
was like really
Yeah,
like
yeah.
don't even
Bummer.
don't
Yeah,
even
don't-
don't
don't
even
even.
don't even try that with me right now, movie. Come on now,
They
fuck
tried,
off, go fuck
guys.
yourself.
Gary Marshall was like, guys, do you think ladies are gonna like this? Let's just add this. Let's just add this line. It'll be fine at
Well,
the
if
end.
it's anything like
You're gonna pull out the avocado.
Cannibal Women in the Avocado Jungle of Death
Ooh.
Oy.
is probably.
Look, I like
I
Gary
wonder
Marshall.
if they have a feminist moment just as poignant.
I have enjoyed Gary Marshall's films. I love Overboard.
I
Love Overboard. That's my film from my childhood that I have nostalgia glasses
Beaches.
on.
I
Sorry.
did.
I
I
enjoyed
had
Beaches.
nostalgia for Overboard too until I watched it and I was like, "This is a movie about a woman with a brain injury that a man takes advantage of and
Yeah.
rapes and slaves."
You know, you can see.
I have not seen
It's
that film.
funny. I'm not saying
It's a very
look,
interesting take on
I'm
slavery.
not
and
saying
brain
that
injury.
Gary Marshall. Look, we haven't really watched all of his, but if you look at each of the films, at least that we've watched, like each of the films feature an abusive relationship
Yeah.
as the center romantic relationship. Like Beaches,
Yeah.
abusive, like narcissistic relationship. Overboard, abusive relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And here again, we have another what I consider to be an abusive, controlling, narcissistic
Do you
relationship.
think that all relationships were
No,
no,
no, I don't
way?
think
No.
so. No,
no?
no.
All the relationships I've heard of from
in films.
In
no
films?
from back then, like men and women just
No.
treated each other in a certain way.
No, I don't think
I
that we
don't
can
think so.
attribute that to all relationships. I definitely think there's a prevailing narrative, not in every movie, but I think there's a prevailing narrative. Like, okay, we joke a lot for. Like, I'm gonna just pull one out of my butt right here with Roman Holiday. Okay, like I didn't find that relationship to be abusive. I do think that he treated her like she was a child a lot of the time, but he was also like 20 years older than her.
Yeah.
Okay, well, not abusive, but like
I don't
that.
think I wouldn't
think relationships
consider
were
that.
like-
Well, no, I think traditionally men were like, I'm older and I take care of you, and you're like a baby.
Yeah,
I have to take
yeah,
care of, but also
yeah.
I need you to wash my underwears. Like
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's definitely like a
Yeah.
traditional example of what men's and women's roles were supposed to be, and we've tried to break out of that. But I don't think you can say that every relationship is like that or has been like that. There is certainly a narrative written by, I don't know, the men that are predominant, like the white men that predominantly control the entertainment industry in terms of who's writing, who's directing, who's picking the shows. Like there are
I don't know,
certainly,
Nicole. I've heard the Jews control all of that. So
yeah, we could debate the semantics of that, but I think we can all agree that the Hollywood and who gets to tell their stories has been traditionally been dominated by men.
it's men. Yeah.
And they've pushed a certain narrative, and I think this fits into that narrative.
Yeah.
I'm so excited! I'm so excited! I'm so scared!
Welcome to Nervous Breakdowns. This is the part of the show where we read the best casting breakdowns in America. That's not true. They are
No,
terrible.
they're the best.
They're terrible. I've only got one today, but boy, is it a doozy. I'm going to pass it on over to our special guest, Natalie. Of course, these are real casting breakdowns. This one was sent to us. I would like to thank the listener that sent this in. I'm not going to say who that is. I'm not going to say where this came from. and we're not going to give any information about the production or the production company. So Natalie,
But thanks.
thanks
Thank
for
you, friend.
putting this nightmare out into the world. Natalie, will you please read what our nervous breakdown is for today?
Yes, I will. I will be happy to. And oh dear God. Okay. So it starts out the name of the name, if you can call it that, of the role is for a featured bare breast female.
That's
Bare
the
breast,
name,
not
That's-
bare breasted.
name of the role.
That's the name of the role.
Name of
bare
the character.
breast, not breasted. Bare breast.
Mom, I got a part in a movie.
So it is for a featured extra, female, 18 to 35, African American, non-union,
Of course, non-union.
non-union, of course.
Of course.
No credit. $100 flat rate. Location Atlanta. Featured role for C-cup breasts.
This is the description of the breakdown.
This is the description of
Here
the
we
breakdown.
go. Here we go, guys. Buckle in.
Featured role for C-cup breasts. Natural looking at least. Must
At
be
least.
comfortable being shirtless on camera. Must be comfortable being handled by another woman. No nipples will be shown. Breasts will be played like instrument by another woman from behind. Set rate of $100 with on-set meal.
You get a meal, though.
You get a meal,
But
y'all.
what kind of instrument is my question? Because if it's a guitar, like maybe I could get into it, but drums, like
Drums,
fuck
ow.
no.
I was
How are
thinking.
we not showing any?
I was
nipples?
thinking more like perhaps a tuba situation.
Maybe
French horn. perhaps.
maybe a French horn.
what's that one where you like move your hand to and from it?
Are you talking about a trombone?
No,
Like a rusty-
like,
like
the
a
one that's like
rusty
a
trombone?
stick that's like, you know, it's,
Oh.
what
Are you
I'm talking
talking
about?
like a theremin?
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Is a theremin exactly what I'm talking about? Like if that's what it is, just like
Please apply if you have theremin-like breasts.
I like that it's a featured role for the boobs. It's like featured
guys,
role
but
for
wait,
not a featured
guys.
extra or featured woman.
Haven't we all seen movies with featured parts? And like, wouldn't they all have a breakdown like that? Like, how depressing is that? Haven't we all seen movies like that?
I just think it's funny
Someone
that it's a C-cup.
read-
But there's
but not a
some
D
ones.
cup or a B cup. It's
My
a C-cup.
favorite part is when they say must look natural at least.
if not supernatural. Like they should be supernatural boobs.
You mean like supernatural?
I mean,
at the very least natural, but
You
I
know,
mean,
like I'm just trying to
supernatural would be a real
picture.
spells
I'm just
from
trying
my
to.
tits.
I'm
I
just
don't
trying
know
to
about you.
picture your average working actor. I'm just trying to picture your average working actor logging into the computer, and they get an email. They're excited. Oh my God! Somebody has sent me a breakdown. Hopefully this is the role I've been waiting for, and then they open this up.
And it's an email from a guy who's like, "Hey, I saw your headshot. You got some nice cans on you.
Nice jugs.
I'd really love it if your tits would submit for this role."
It's autistic. We're gonna play your boobs like a tuba. So short and sweet, but that's our nervous breakdown today. Thank you,
Also-
Natalie, for reading that. Thank you for to our listener for sending that in. That is fucking nightmarish. I'm sad that exists in the
Please
world.
send in your guesses
Yes.
for which instrument.
Yeah, right.
Please tell us which instrument
Go
you
on,
think it
go
is.
on, go on Facebook, go on Twitter, tweet at us. What instrument do you think these boobs are supposed to be?
Or-
We need to know.
Tell us what instrument you like to play your boobs as. Like if you're at home and you're like, you know what, I really
Or
like
have
that
your
they're
boobs be played
flute
as.
shaped and I really enjoy playing them like a flute.
really
I like-
Let us know.
I like to use the left one as a banjo and the right one as the spoons. I'm a real
that makes
bluegrass
sense.
gal.
yeah.
Sense.
See,
It's
mine
really
I played
impressive
like
that
a-
you can get one to make the spoons out.
I played mine like an
And
old
there's
jug.
something wrong and you might need to get a mammogram.
Mine are like an old jug. You just blow into it.
Just blow right into the
like
nipple and it
the
makes that
glasses.
Makes a
jug,
sound.
jug band
Yeah.
sound.
You like get it wet around the edges.
Sarah's
Like the water glasses.
demonstrating over there. White.
I wish this was filmed. We should live stream this.
We should.
This could be a Patreon thing.
Yeah, you can. You
Live
too
stream
can see us
podcast.
jiggling our boobs as though they were instruments
Touching our
for
nips.
only $1 a month.
Oh my God.
So So listeners, again, if you have any, if you have a nervous breakdown like this, or something even more nightmarish, perhaps, you can send that to femininemistakepodcast@gmail.com, and we will read it as we did this one. And keep your dreams wide open, actors. Welcome to Plug It Up. This is the part of the show where we talk about all the cool things that we're up to and all of the awesome things that our guests are up to, so that you can keep up with what they're doing and check out all the cool things they're making. Let's start with our guest, Natalie.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
So this month, on September 23rd, you can come to the Atlanta History Center for Fall Folk Life and buy some of my embroidery.
And you work at the History Center, right?
I also work at the Atlanta History Center, but I will be a vendor. So I'm very excited about this. This has literally been my dream since I started working at the History Center. And I design and craft hand embroidery.
They're so cute.
It is political. Not gonna lie, a lot of it. Right now, I'm doing a series of Atlanta strip clubs. So if that's something you're into,
I saw
awesome.
I saw the Claremont Lounge one you did, which was very cool.
Thank you. So that will be
and
for
we have a
sale.
lot of Atlanta listeners. Well, in fact, most of our listeners are based in Atlanta. We do have some international listeners. So hello, folks. I'm sorry if you, but
Yes.
you,
Well,
but you
I
can
am
you buy
online.
can you buy stuff if you're
You
international?
can. I am on Etsy and I do ship internationally. Right now, I'm only set up to ship to the United Kingdom, but I am happy if you want to message me to ship anywhere. I also do custom work. So if you want something custom made and you don't want it super realistic,
it's embroidery.
it's embroidery.
And what is the name of your Etsy store?
It is Stitch NB Embroidery. So capital S, TITCH, capital N, capital B, capital E, embroidery.
Embroidery. Cool. Stitch and B embroidery.
Yeah, or you can find me by searching Natalie Flynn on Etsy, because that's a little easier to spell.
There you go. And so you make sort of subversive embroidery.
Yeah.
And so if you're in Atlanta and you want to come to it now, there'll be other art vendors there? Like what kind of things, is there food? Like what's happening at this shindig?
So this is a folk art festival at the History Center. It's one of my favorite days of the year. We have Michael Twitty comes. If you've never heard of him, look him up. He is known for his work on teaching about Southern foodways, specifically with regard to enslaved food and cultures. And oh my God, y'all, this man can cook.
Does he have a YouTube show?
He does have a YouTube show.
I've seen it. Okay.
He's
really cool.
And his fried chicken is the Lord's work.
Okay. Sounds good. I love fried chicken.
I'll be the judge of
It
that.
is. It's that good.
Lori's like, challenge accepted.
I was
that
raised
good.
Catholic and I love to eat.
And then, not in the embroidery art world, I have a YouTube show called A Light from the Past,
Indeed.
which has been plugged on here before.
It's very funny.
It's pretty funny. We're working on making some more episodes. We've got, let's see, Cleopatra is being edited.
Awesome.
We have
who's in Cleopatra?
So D'Amber is one of my friends, and she is playing Cleopatra.
Okay.
She's very funny. Cleopatra's episode. So A Light for the
And
Past.
you're in the show,
I
right?
am in the show, and I write the show. And it's about a woman named Margot who is a bit of a pothead, and she is always trying to get high, and her lighter just isn't letting that happen. But her lighter has an ulterior motive, and it summons a historical figure from the past so that they can share a joint and a story and have her piece lit historically.
So if you like stoner humor,
Yeah.
and you want to get some interesting facts that you may not ordinarily know from history,
It is
I've learned
based in fact.
so
It's a
much
good-
from A Light from the Past episodes.
And
Like,
Based in fact.
former guest on the show, two-time guest on the show, Jasmine Waters, it plays George Washington in one of the
She's
episodes.
also going to be Hitler coming up soon.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Get ready for that.
Whoa!
I'm really excited for Hitler.
It's rather timely.
Yeah.
Aren't we
I
all?
love
We're
Posse
also
and
going to have an Andrew
Aren't we
Jackson
all?
episode. Also
Aren't
timely.
we all though?
Oh, so
Aren't we all
timely.
excited about the second
Hitler's
coming of Hitler?
return? Oh wait, he's not here already.
Hitler's episode will be about his meth addiction.
Yeah.
They were all doing meth apparently. I just
They
learned
were.
that. Yeah.
They were, but this way I can, play with some Blue Rock candy, a la Breaking Bad.
Okay.
Nice.
All right.
So much candy.
Interesting.
You know, I'm
So
always
where
pro
can
candy.
people view A Light from the Past?
So you can view it on YouTube if you search A Light from the Past. It'll show up. Or you can subscribe to my channel. It happened on a Wednesday.
Ooh, I want to know what happened on a Wednesday.
What didn't happen on a Wednesday is the better question.
Do you have any social media? Like, I know you post a lot of your embroidery work to Instagram.
I do.
And we do regram it from time to time, I think, right?
I think we have.
I feel like we
before.
have, yeah. But where can we...
So you can find me on
Where can we see
Instagram
it?
at NCHFlynn, FLYNN.
All right,
Like
check out
Flynn
some of
Rider.
that embroidery, guys.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Bordado.
Very cool.
Embroidery.
Very
if you
cool.
want to say it in 2 other languages.
Ooh.
Yes.
You just learned something. Boom.
Dropping some knowledge.
Well, thank you, Natalie. So everybody
Thank
go check
you.
that out. Check out her Instagram and her Etsy. The embroidery is very cool. And, of course, check out A Light from the Past.
And see her on September 23rd at the
Oh,
Atlanta
yeah.
History
Live
Center.
and in person.
Yeah.
At
And
the
come
Folk Art
buy
Show.
some fucking embroidery that's
Yeah.
really cool and cute.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Make it for you. Put it in your home.
Yeah. It's good for gifts.
Sarah, what would you like to plug today?
Critical Crop Top will be having another live sketch show in October 21st and 22nd.
You don't say.
Yes, I do say. And we are going to, write our butts off this next month. And
I feel like we're always doing something our butts off.
yeah.
Where's it going to be, Sarah?
It's going to be at Rob Mello Studio. And it is going to be like an hour and a half.
Well, yeah, our full length shows tend to be around hour 45. We do like a full show
Yeah,
with
lots
2
of
acts.
sketches. We do a live poet. A spoken word poet and a musical guest.
It's kind of funny when you say
Spoken
live
word
poet.
is live too.
I know,
They
but
are
I also
live.
pictured like we had someone in a jar and like we're keeping them backstage.
live poet.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a fun time and a lot of your faves.
Lots
a lot
of
of your
faves.
faves in the show.
And some new people too that
Yeah.
that are new to the show, which is exciting.
Yeah, Abby is our new
Yeah.
person, right? But although you have seen her in PYT's web show.
Yeah, you've seen her in PYT's
Yeah, this will be Abby's first show with us.
Yep.
And then who else is in the show, you
we've
guys?
got Andy. We've got Laura. We've
Myers.
got me,
John Good.
Hillary, and Nicole. John Good.
John Good.
Um,
Jasmine Waters.
Jasmine.
I think that's it, right?
think that's
I'll feel
it,
like our
yeah.
huge dick if it's not, but I'm pretty sure that's the cast. And we don't know what the show's about. We haven't started writing it yet.
as of this
we
recording.
know
As
the
of this
theme.
recording, but I believe when the show comes out is the first week
Yeah, first
of
week
our
of
writing.
writing.
So we'll just have started writing the show. So come check it out if you're in the Atlanta area. And tickets will be available on our website. criticalcroptop.com/tickets.
/ MFM. I'm kidding.
And of course, all the details and stuff, you can find that on our social media.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, you can find Bad Day, the new short film that I
Tell me
wrote
more.
and directed, starring Nicole Kemper and Jasmine Waters,
Man,
Andy
Jasmine's all
Fleming,
up in all
and
of
Brian
this stuff.
Ashton
Jasmine
Smith.
is all up in all these things.
I know she somehow weaseled her way into everything. Like I'm pretty sure she's a hypnotist and was just like, "You will put me in your shows," and like it just happened. We haven't let her go since.
Makes sense.
I keep Jasmine in a box in my
She
apartment.
live comedian.
Oh, speaking of Jasmine,
Darn.
my mom like screamed laughing when she opened the program of the last show and saw that Jasmine is a black woman, or like I am a black woman.
That was
That was her
Jasmine's
bio.
I died. I died when I saw that.
It was so perfect. We were all like sitting around talking about our bios, and she was like, "Is it too much to just write Jasmine as a black woman?" And I was like, "No, it's
Do
perfect." But yeah, you can see Nicole and Jasmine and Brian and Andy in
Yeah.
Bad Day, which is available on the Critical Crop Top Vimeo channel. It's vimeo.com/critical crop top. Make sure you hit subscribe and you'll never miss an episode of anything that we put up
Yeah.
there.
More videos coming soon.
Yeah, you can waste a whole day on there. So if you like Bad Day, check out PYT's web show is my other recommendation because I also
professional.
Dick
Yeah,
Pic
did
Professional,
that.
which Hillary's in.
Motherload.
yeah, just watch the
Another
ones that
website.
I'm in or wrote or directed. And
Oh, okay.
Oh, I see how it is now.
yeah, sorry, Motherload. I was only AD.
You were
on
AD
that.
on that though.
I was.
I think you might be in the background of a shot.
I am
Probably
in the
not.
background of a
You
shot.
are?
Actually, the very first episode, the very first scene,
Right
I'm
in
in
the
the background
bakery.
of it.
In the bakery, yeah.
I'm in the background of the bakery shot. And then
Be
I
able to
did a
look
whole
what
lot
you
of wrangling of meatballs in another scene.
Indeed, those meatballs.
But yeah, you can check out that shit. Waste a whole day.
Waste a
on
whole
our
day.
video
We've
channel.
got
Do
like
it.
hours of entertainment at
No
your disposal.
bathroom breaks though.
No, you gotta.
Well, you can still watch it while you shit. I do it all the
that's
time.
true. If
Just
you've
bring
got
it
a
with
cell
you.
phone,
Yeah.
for sure.
That's true.
Or get one of those like peek up things.
Yeah, just bedpan
You know.
it up on your couch.
It's getting real sticky, guys.
What, you don't have a bedpan by your couch when you're too lazy to move? They've gotten rid of commercials. When am I supposed to
I
pee
would
now?
totally believe
Exactly.
that you would own.
You
a
know you
bedpan
can.
at
You know
home.
you can.
Sarah's like, I'm surprised you don't have a bucket next to you.
You know
Hillary,
you
so
can.
just
You know
don't
you can
remove.
press pause, right? Anytime
What?
you want. Anytime you want. Anytime. You
That's
want.
crazy.
I don't think that's true.
insane, Nicole. You can't do that.
All right. So, one last thing to plug. Our social media for one thing. If you
yeah.
want to stay abreast,
breasted.
stay abreasted,
Full-breasted.
stay abreasted. Must be comfortable having your breastplate as instruments. If you want to stay abreast of what Critical Crop Top is up to, we are. It's very easy to remember that our handle on everything that includes Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook is at Critical Crop Top. We also have a Facebook page for Feminine Mistake Podcast. At Feminine Mistake Pod. So come over there, start a conversation with us. We'd like to talk to you. And if you have really enjoyed listening to the show, of course, you can subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher. We're on SoundCloud. We're expanding to other things as well. More info on that soon. And if you really like the show, subscribe, rate us, review us, and perhaps even donate to our programming. Donating to Critical Crop Top is tax deductible, and it makes you feel good on your insides. So if you go to our website, criticalcroptop.com, and you click the donate tab, you will be taken to a place where you will get all the
Where you
required
can give us
information.
all your credit card information.
Just put it all in there. Actually, it's very secure and safe. You can do it online. Any amount helps. Any amount is tax deductible. And we appreciate you listening to us, and we appreciate your support. So I think that's all for the show.
Thank you and have a good night.
I think that's all for the show. Natalie, thank you.
Thanks, Natalie.
Thank you. You're amazing.
For-
we love your stories.
Yeah,
You're
you're
amazing.
fantastic, and we love you. Thanks, guys, for joining us for this discussion about toxic masculinity in Hollywood as a love object. No, love ideal,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's late. So please subscribe to this podcast and send your nervous breakdowns that we can read on the
And
show.
bank statements.
And your bank statements and your pictures of your condo that you want to put Hillary up in at femininemistakepodcast@gmail.com.